Hello, my name's Andy Law, and welcome to this Tales of Middenheim, where we have ourselves some PCs who would like to get up to some shenanigans. Now, for those of you who are coming up this tale, you'll be aware that there has been some rather explosive, let's say, events in Middenheim. And those explosive events mean that sometimes not only does it tear things apart, but it brings some people together, which is lovely. In this particular case, it brings together the always lovely Ume and Father Leopold. Hello to both of you. I believe that there is something that you would like to be doing. Am I correct in that? I'm just going to dive straight in.
Indeed.
Right, so what are we doing?
Not be depressed.
Don't be depressed, right? Good luck. If you may recall from last episode, episode 45, if you're viewing this out of order, get back to episode 45, watch that first. This will make much more sense. But Ume is not in the best place. There are many an almost tear trickling down from her eyes. Sniff, 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 sniff.
Yes.
So, what's your plan?
So, well, initially, obviously, Leopold's new novitiate
Yes.
is going to join him at the palace and
Yes.
has a gift for him.
Indeed.
From the
A gift
Archbishop.
of a hammer.
Indeed.
A hammer.
Hammer.
An actual Warhammer,
Nice.
which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
If a little bit obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
He
you know.
said the thing. He said the thing.
yeah. I mean, but you know, he is a Sigma, right? Yes, she does indeed have a hammer, which comes in a box,
Ooh.
directly from the High Temple, for you to drop down. Emmanuel, your novitiate, looks at it with a certain amount of nervousness in her eye, her hand coming up to her bobbed hair, as she wonders what's on the inside. She's quite curious as to what exactly is going on here too.
She's not the only one.
Yeah, quite.
Well, I think Leopold will open it up and have a look.
Have a look.
A look.
Yeah, because one of the great joys of being Leopold is he has no eyes, but he does have his sense of touch. And given that you happen to be here, you were having a loose discussion. You were trying to cheer the poor old imperial princess up. She's not in the best of moods. The spirits, they're dying. It's all going wrong. And you can sense its length and you can sense its solidity in front of you before you even bring your hands down towards it. From Ume's somewhat more standard vision, it looks like a long hafted warhammer with a small loop at the end of leather for clearly looping it into his hand so that he can swing it and hopefully not lose it if anything goes wrong, if it gets knocked out of his hand or similar. And it's got leather binding all the way up, which is worn away slightly. So clearly this is a weapon that has been rebound recently and has been used. The tip of it, though, the top of the hammer itself, is you would guess gold-plated in many places, although it looks like the head itself is steel. It's on its main block head. It's entirely flat, not fat, but fat head, flat, and on the flat end, the business end, is almost polished to a sheen with a couple of crisscrosses across it where clearly the gouges that were caused in the past from something were a little bitty too deep to entirely polish out. But as you tip your head, you can see your own slightly distorted face reflecting back from that. And for a brief moment, just a brief moment, you think you see a fox behind your shoulder. No, there's nothing there.
You don't. My wife's not here, so anything could be watching.
Yeah.
Quite. And we have ourselves golden segments from the main hammer. It has a claw to the other end, which is very handy for spiking into things and also pulling things out. And again, it looks like it's made of steel. It's from your vision though, it's solid. It feels before you. This is you want to do yourself an intuition test?
Yeah, very much would.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
Successes.
10, I think. No, I lie. 8. I've got 3 talents, but none of them stack. So yeah,
Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
As your hand comes down on it, and
Well, I always get empathetic. If Holy Visions counts, I get an extra +1 for that. I don't know if this counts as a Holy Visions thing.
it's not Holy Vision, no.
So 8 then.
Yeah. So down comes it again. It's only on what the Holy Vision does that it activates on. As your hands come down on it, and clunk, you can sense it being forged, which is slightly unnerving. As you sense it being forged, and it was forged in Karaberg, far, far to the south. And you can feel the hands working on the metal, twisting it, and then you can feel the carving. The runes that they place upon the metal, they're just replication of dwarven runes. You can feel them being etched in, chiseled in places, and you can feel the mind attempting to copy, twisting and copying the rune over. The main hammer itself suddenly swings again, this time into the skull of an orc, this time into a beastman, this time into a mutant, this time into a human. As conk, 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 whoa, whoa, baff, baff, baff. And again and again, it is used to destroy the enemies of Sigmar, till it isn't. Then it's just used to kill people. People after people after people. And the weapon was put away when the priest who had it was captured. It's an odd number to have sitting at the back of your mind. 1,312 heretics killed, of which 1,312 were not heretics.
You'd think to get
And-
one at least right by mistake.
The law of averages.
You surely get one.
I mean, not being funny, but it kind of seems like in Middenheim, you throw a stone, you hit someone who's a cultist, right? Like,
He somehow managed to throw all the stones and hit nothing. It was a Pulp Fiction moment. Bang, 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 missing all of the targets ahead.
nice.
1,312 murders caused by this weapon in the name of Sigmar, which meant it was retired 312 years ago. It has been used in an altar. It has been used and shown at one point in a museum in Altdorf. And then when the Order of the Silver Flame called for it to be returned because originally it was one of their priests, there was much resistance. You can hear the bellowing and the shouting around the hammer as you pick it up. And you can almost see the face of the Sigmarite who was arguing against it, claiming the weapon was cursed, that the weapon was the cause for the murders. It isn't.
That's good to know.
It was ignorance. Pure, simple ignorance. He was convinced that anyone who was in particular villages that were showing witch signs were heretics. Interestingly, he killed several witches. According to your vision, they were innocent, but the Sigmarites claimed they were not. It was his later career that gives all the extra kills. When they said it was wrong, but all of his early career were filled with legitimate targets. But not according to your side. Were not a single one of them, 1,312 dead. He liked to burn, and before they died, as they were screaming, clamber up into the flame and kill them. And let their ashes burn after that.
I mean, arguably, that's slightly better than just letting them burn all the way to death.
Yeah, sure.
But
he waited for them to scream a bit first. I mean, he could have done that first.
exactly. I mean, it's definitely not good.
He clearly went for the drama.
Yeah.
He clearly went for the drama.
Clearly a narcissist.
His name was Tobias. The last thing that you pick out from all of this, his name was Tobias, Father Tobias from the Order of the Silver Flame. And he was a notorious witch hunter across the north. He was not a member of the Order of the Silver Flame, of the Silver Hammer, He wasn't a member of the Order of Silver Hammer, he was Silver Flame, but he had taken it upon himself to cleanse with fire any that he deemed to be.
That's interesting, because I was wondering why the High Capitular would send Leopold this hammer in particular, but that kind of makes sense. The fact that Leopold has very much rejected that single-minded witch hunter mindset means perhaps there's a chance here to...
It's time to potentially recommission the weapon.
Yeah.
It's been held by the Order, you think, for at least 50 years and not being used. It's been held beneath the temple itself in their chapter house. And now it's yours. So, what does your talent do specifically?
So, oh, that's the wrong tab. That's the tab we want. So the pass, I sense if the item is magical.
Yes.
And I learn up to detect artifact. So two special rules.
Magical, I think possibly it might be worth me adding a slight word to that. I'll probably add divine stroke magical because
it's
absolutely
divine.
works.
Yeah.
Okay, it is divine. And carries divinity within it. And it does indeed have a special rule. Its special rule is, whenever you hit, the successes you hit with go against the casting number of any active spells that it hits into.
Ooh.
And if they are more than the casting number, well, not the casting number, pardon me, the cast number. It's slightly different.
Yeah, because it could be overcast, it'd be higher.
Well, actually, no, it's the casting number. I've got to get the correct one. The casting number of the spell, because once it's overcast, it's gone. That's it. It's now outside of the wizard's effect. Okay, it's the casting number itself. And if it's higher than the casting number of the spell fizzles. And this is cumulative in that there's 3 spells. Their numbers are added together, and it takes off the lowest number first. So if it was, say, 3, 5, 8, you would take off the 3 first, then the 5, 8, then the 5, then the 8, assuming you got that ridiculous number of successes.
Or you hit them that many times. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And that happens each time you hit, so you just compare whatever your successes rolled is against whatever.
They don't accrue though, so it's not like I've hit them for 4 and now hit them for 4, so now it's 8. It's
correct. It's each time back 4. That's not enough.
So if you never get over enough, it'll never
trigger.
Cool. That makes sense.
So put all your XP in
into melee. Right, everybody, throw me at Dagmar.
I was thinking more you hitting the silver flame, just like
So you catch all of that in the space of about a minute or so as you're looking at it, where from your side you can see the light glimmering across it. You don't have detect artifact, I believe, do you?
No, I don't. I have into like Holy Vision and stuff, but I don't have.
Yeah, Holy Visions will be enough for me to pull out an intuition test to see what you gather from your side.
She's also thinking about simpler times when she bit into that golden hammer at the Wittgenstein chapel.
Yeah, please don't bite this.
0 success.
You can hear the screams of dying witches.
Yay!
That's exactly what your mindset is.
Definitely. Here we go again.
I'll add an extra adjective. The screams of dying, burning witches. Oh, another one. The death screams.
Innocent?
No, she doesn't get that. No, she doesn't get that.
I'll carry that person all on my own bed.
You can carry that one. Lovely. As the novitiate, she looks over and looks at it, and a slight gasp of, because it is an impressive, shiny artifact, a very, very shiny hammer, as she looks at it and makes the sign of the hammer upon her chest, and then just looks over at the father with a certain amount of, you can't decide what exactly the emotions are that are playing upon her face, but it's probably awe, or alternatively fear, or alternatively respect, or alternatively something very imperial that you just don't get. It's one of those. As she then sits back and waits to, as is often the case with novitiates, be ordered to do something.
Fair.
Nice. She's done her job.
Yeah. In terms of just putting it on my character sheet, is it same damage as a normal Warhammer?
It
Or
is.
can adjust? Perfect.
It is a Warhammer in terms of damage.
Love it.
And it's a hand and a half, so it can be used either with one-handed or two-handed.
Excellent.
If it's used with two-handed, it adds +2 damage on top. If it's used one-handed, it obviously doesn't.
Love it.
Better keep both your hands.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I haven't actually taken any points in two-handed yet, but maybe I will now.
Yeah, indeed.
Because although it's the success levels of the hit, not the damage,
Correct.
that knock a spell off. So
Yeah.
Choices.
Choices.
Yeah. But hey, extra damage is never to be sniffed at.
So, what's next?
Well, I think that the plan initially was that we were going to head towards the High Temple of Sigmar,
Sounds good.
in the hope of introducing my good friend Ume Tsume to the High Capitular.
Okay, well, she was there this morning, as is only right and correct for a good novitiate. You can use her as your herald.
Indeed.
As is only right and proper. Go tell him that I'm coming in the hope that an organised meeting can be organised
Exactly.
before.
He's a busy man.
He's a busy man. And she can also check if he's there.
Yeah.
Because if he's not, then she'll come back, tell you whatever, and you can just slowly sort it over and grab yourself, I don't know, a cup of Middenheim coffee or something along the way until, that sounds good. So you can send her off and she will bob and go running off to that as, I suppose, the pair of you start a walk around.
Is a Kislevites coffee a thing?
Kislevites coffee is indeed.
Coffee with a shot of kvass in it?
Calf is a thing. It's also worth noting that as you pass out of the palace grounds, where they are still working on the excavations, and the shift that you have isn't till later, they are working on shifts, generally 4 to 6 hour shifts, so that people don't completely get knackered. And also to ensure that those who are particularly work prone don't, because they'll get tired, they might squash someone, they might make a mistake. And Boris himself is fully aware of his own nature, has installed this as a hard rule, much to the disappointment of many people who've got family members who may be trapped in there. They want to be in there every day. And Boris has gone off and spoken to each of them individually and told them that everyone's doing the very best that they can, and the very best they can includes getting rest, proper rest. There are more than enough people in the city to deal with this, and this is not the only site where there's troubles. If you want to help further, go down to the Wind, or go over to the Ulrichsmund at the Helstein Mansion and help there, because your help will be very welcome. Fully understand that you want to do something, but, and he doesn't say this, go fuck off and go to bed. And this has garnered him both a lot of respect from some quarters, but from some, there's real disappointment because they want to be in there. Their family members are currently missing. There's many, many who have yet to be recovered from in there. We're not yet at the point where the Knights Panther, have got themselves a fixed number of how many they've lost. The number, though, is high. And as we discussed on episode 45, over 60 families, imperial families, have lost members in this explosion, which significantly changes where the Knights Panther might go on their next steps. And that includes a bunch of Reichland families as well. Yeah. And as we discussed before, the Knights Panther are surprisingly rich because of the trade routes that they patrol all the way down to Araby, and the trade routes that they still in many respects also control. Not necessarily someone you want to get on the wrong side of. So you're going to start slowly heading out.
Yeah.
Wait for her to come back, see when the meeting is, that sort of thing. Outside of the main palace grounds, as you pass your way out, you are now recognized entities within the palace, which means that none of the palace guards stop you on the way by beyond just a or a nod or some equivalent. You have got not only your hero of Middenheim, just point toward hero of Middenheim. Make way, hero of Middenheim, hero of Middenheim, hero of Middenheim. You not only have your handy claw Hero of Middenheim symbol, which makes you immediately identifiable. You have also been individually called out by Boris Todbringer as heroes, which obviously you've got the thing, but he has mentioned it more than once outside of that ceremony a few days back. Ume, in particular, is feeling still very tired. She was left without food or water for far too long. And she doesn't know if she can walk for a very long period without a bit of rest. And even with the extra supplementary healing that came from our good old Jade friend, she's still feeling pretty under the weather. She's looking a bit gaunt from Father Leopold's side, and she has been, as he's noted more than once, muttering away to herself in a way that worries him deeply. There's a small part of him that has decided that she's not getting out of his sight, regardless of what she might prefer. I'll attend with you. Come with me. I'm going over to a temple. You are too.
Eat something. Drink something.
You need something to eat. A fortifying kvass infused drink.
Yeah. He's trying to be helpful. He doesn't necessarily know what are the healthy things to eat and drink in this situation.
No idea at all.
Overstimulate yourself. Kvass and calf.
Cheers.
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 That being said, manic Ume is the best Ume, so that's what we're going for.
The streets of Middenheim are filled with a mixture of gawkers, people who have come up to the palace to see what has happened. There are demonstrators also, mostly demonstrating against Reichland. It's a bit pathetic. There's nobody there demonstrating. Oh, but is there? Even passing through the edge of the crowds and going through the streets, you realize that there is somebody in that palace, the ambassador, the Reichland ambassador, who has currently been arrested. And as far as many are concerned, was probably the one that did it. His whole family have been secured.
Who is the Reichland ambassador?
You have no idea. But he's in the palace somewhere.
Even if I knew the name, it probably wouldn't mean much to
Yeah, quite. A noble from one of the families.
Gar would know, but
Yeah, probably.
No, but if he knew the name, he might recognise the family.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's a completely.
It would mean something to Gar.
It would indeed mean something
nothing
to
to
Gar.
Leopold.
Absolutely. As you make your way towards slowly the High Temple, you stop off for your coffee, overlooking the main street that leads all the way over towards the East Gate. It winds slightly. The gardens on the other side, the high trees popping up from the other side, from the Feywood over there. As folks are running by, more folks running that way, and here the father can perception test. As you're sitting down, having a cuppa.
Yeah, like six successes.
Somewhere beyond the gathered riot, too strong, the gathered demonstration that's sitting outside the palace, you can hear that there are definitely more issues in the city. It's echoing along the streets. You can hear the occasional shouts. You can hear the occasional mixture of voices shouting something. And as you settle down and take a sip, you get your first real awareness as your head tips to one side. You may still quiet, occasionally muttering something to herself. As perhaps, unfortunately, burn Sigmar? As he thinks of what he's wearing.
Yeah.
Good start.
Blows on his calf before he has another drink. Didn't want to
be a scald.
Yeah. Scald Sigmar. Well, that's not good.
Hey, actually, it tastes quite good. It's fortifying, don't you know? Do an endurance
Small
test.
sips.
Do an endurance test.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine.
Well, I got you drunk instantly.
2 fails.
Not at all. It's just she's feeling the touch of it already. It's not that strong.
Her cheeks have gone
Her
red.
cheeks will be burning a little as she's taking it down.
That's good. It's working.
It's doing its job. It's fortifying her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't you feel fortified?
Generally, the flow of people is making its way from your right, where you're looking out onto the walls of the city from your left over towards your right, moving in the general direction of the temple. And as you're hearing the hubbub in the background, the arrival of your bishop, who comes in, looks over, says, "Can I?
Yeah.
I would like to report that there is trouble at the Temple of Sigma, and I'm not sure that we can do anything about it because there's hundreds and they are demonstrating their torches. And unfortunately, the flags are down for the High Capitular and they appear to be besieged.
Goodness.
There's a pyre on the outside where they are burning some berobed dummies made of wooden sticks and similar. It might be unwise for you to approach it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. At least it's only effigies for now. Are there members of the Watch or anyone there trying to keep the peace?
There's a large ring of them around it, and I think that they are going to be ill-matched should the actual crowds decide to push forward, but I imagine they have that in hand.
And hopefully anyone who is in the temple will have the sense to just keep their heads low. And
I hope so. He says,
the High Capitular presumably has gone south with the news.
His banner is not up, which means he's not in the city. He was here this morning. So perhaps they've come because he is no longer there. They've seen that go down and they've seen that, taken that as a sign. And they have decided that they need to do something about it.
Much like with the ambassador. Scapegoat.
It's a focus of their anger. I don't recommend going there.
No, I know about your instincts are entirely right, Emmanuel. We shouldn't go.
Unfortunately, it means I won't be able to access my notes, which I intended to.
Well, we can potentially arrange the safe passage there later. We can maybe talk to someone in the palace about whether we can get an escort.
I would like to get access to my books because they are very useful for what we intend to be doing.
Her eyes widen at the thought of what you intend to be doing.
Right. Yeah, you can fumble in his pouch to get yourself a calf.
Bows. Thank you, High Father.
Goes off.
That's right, I'm a High Father now. Keep forgetting.
Fancy. Usually when people go up in my cult, we just end up with more people to punish the hubris of the city, but yours seems cool too.
Yeah, different kind of punishment, I guess.
She seems pretty down.
Yeah.
Punishing people!
It's full of bad people.
so I can't help but notice that your spirits are understandably low with everything that's happened. So I thought initially it would be good for you to talk to the High Capitular, because he knew this Ronaldo, and I thought he could give you some stories about her, and that might help things. But obviously that's not an option now. What about if we finally go to the bathhouse like we were gonna? We've got the day, an opportunity to take stock, to relax. We could do that, unless there's anything else you'd rather do.
She comes over, looks at you both, desperately tries not to interrupt as she sits down carefully on a stool, scrapes it forward, and then purposely doesn't look at you in a desperate attempt not to listen in too much as she takes a drink from her calf.
You Most High. Well, I don't really feel like the bathhouse. I appreciate the thought, but I actually think I might need to go touch a tree.
Cover your ears.
Good.
Just for a second. That's not a euphemism, is it? No, all right. You're fine. Just I had to check. Go to the tree. So like the point vaguely in the direction of where the
gardens are.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually just over the wall and in that direction.
like in the gardens there.
Yeah, the view reminded me of something my father said about how the imperial tree back in the pond apparently is connected through the roots to all the other trees in the world, and maybe I'd feel something if I touched one.
Yeah, so you might feel like a connection with back home. And that might help bring you closer to that. That makes sense to me.
And I don't know, maybe give me some insight in how I can be helpful, because clearly I've been failing.
I mean, I don't know that I'd say that. I think you've been very helpful. But equally, this is obviously important to you, so I think we should do it. How has your meditation been coming along?
Every time I close my eyes, I see horrible things.
Right. So maybe if we can do that in a place like that is both calm and peaceful anyway, but also may bring a connection with this tree back in the pond, then maybe we'll be more successful. This seems like a good plan.
Yes, giant spider riding ancestors seems like a much better choice at this moment.
Yeah.
Apparently one of them is a giant spider.
Wow.
We're all doomed to change one day.
Yeah. Shall we? Of course, you're probably closer in age to my novitiate than you are to Leopold. So, too funny. Yeah. Right. Shall we do that then?
Are we going?
Yes, you can finish your cap. Sorry, there's no rush. But remember, sorry, no, please don't drink it too fast. It's okay, take your time.
I have finished and I'm ready to go. And she says,
okay, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So where are you going?
Touch some trees, man.
We'll head back to the palace. I mean, it seems to me, didn't Alameno say something about the trees? Like, didn't she go there?
Yeah, she just talks about trees all the time.
No,
you know?
I she does just bang on. I mean, she's never stops talking about trees. Like trees,
and,
trees,
you know,
trees.
It's
trees,
a euphemism
trees.
only about half of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know. And you'd think it was if it was the word was wood rather than tree, but no. Apparently trunk. That's justice. But no, I'm sure she said something about visiting that wood before. So maybe we should talk to her first.
Well, she, assuming that all is as it was before, will be back at the old Malton Palace, which is where you held your meeting when you all got together.
Is that where we are currently quartered? Or
it is not where you're quartered. You're quartered over in the main palace.
In a bit that is
Alameno,
still
however, is quartered over there. And that is the place where you met the Chamberlain of the palace and you were seen in. That's probably where she is. Much like you, she has things that she might or might not be doing, but at least it gives you somewhere that you can potentially go if you want to go and ask. Further, the main gardens themselves, which is where you believe the wood is, and you can see the trees rising above the walls, is closed. And you get through the main palace gates because that's where you're going, but that doesn't mean you can get into the other sections. If she can't get you into there, then your next port of call would probably be, of all people, Birdie, because Birdie can access the central portions, basically 3 sections inside the walls. Section 1 is the palace, section 2 is the Knights Panther compound, section 3 is the gardens. And the Knights Panther compound connects both. So if she can get through one side, she can also get through the other.
Nice.
Which means that she would probably be your next best option. She is probably with the Knights Panther, so you might end up having a just bit of a weight.
Probably being taught how to ride a horse or something.
Yeah, probably. You know how it works.
I mean,
it's a bit of a shame we don't get to watch that.
that would be hilarious. that would undoubtedly lift Ume's spirits, I think. But,
Well, that could be our second thing to do.
Maybe we'll catch that on the way.
Whoa! It's got too many legs! Yeah. You can see how that would pan out. So heading back towards the palace. The demonstrators are still on the outside. There is an outside chance that you will literally be attacked.
Uh-oh.
Yay.
So, yay! Roll yourself a d10 each.
Oh, spaghetti-o.
The more important of these two is yourself.
9.
How'd you do?
10.
Oh, no, we're okay.
Oh.
Bit disappointed, but we're okay. There is a small group of locals who are clearly spoiling for a fight, with many a wolf tattoo up and down their arms, and the big U's of Ulrich. But they completely missed the father. Maybe they ain't seen him, right?
Right.
Handy being with someone
Yeah.
who is perhaps divinely quiet in comparison to the divine loudness of our blind priest.
It's like a comedy duel.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Well, to give them the disparity in heights as well.
As you move around them, one of them on the way by, bashing a cudgel into his hand, says, "Let's get us some Sigmarites." As another one says, "We'll fuck them up."
It's probably a good thing we didn't go to the bathhouse.
Yeah.
In case you get attacked.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious being attacked in the bathhouse without any clothes. The fight that would have ensued would have been most certainly /fic area.
Yeah.
So, we arrive back at the palace, the main palace itself, but the demonstration is still on. It's somewhat lackluster, largely because the devastation that's on the other side, and there's a relatively somber tone. Most of the people around here are either crying, there's all manner of flowers now laid up, of which now the tone and colour has changed. There is no, in the Garden of Moor in the city, there are so few actual black roses there, but some have been carted from other places around the main city itself, from other Gardens of Moor, and the colours that used to be relatively mixed are slowly but surely being dominated by black, as black roses from across and around the province are beginning to be dropped here. There are all kinds of messages, all of which you can't read, many of which are tearful losses at friends, lovers, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, and more. And I stress on more in particular. There are a lot of crudely depicted wooden effigies of ravens that are being placed in many places. The wall near the entrance point when you move into the main palace itself has had a bunch of them nailed up. There's a bunch of placards and boards off to the side too, which are being covered by various messages. A doomsayer of Moor has arrived since the time you left. A relatively tall man with a bald head, and he's got quite the worn, wattly bit of flesh underneath his chin as he's just sitting there with a huge scythe over his head, standing, blessing people as he goes, telling the people that Moor has ferried these souls safely. Both can't help but feel that might be a lie. It's nothing more than panacea, a cure-all for their current deep wounds that they have spiritually. He, however, doesn't seem to show any form of it being a lie as he sits there making small blessings.
He may well believe it.
Yeah. And various individuals are queuing up to have a chat with him and basically ask questions such as like, did she get through the portal? Did he get picked up by the ravens? And he has effectively a confessional with them. And then returns again to his prayers. Passing by one of the Knights Panther, you can hear the Knights Panther. General disdain for this. Bloody lies of all that. keeping it to himself, obviously, as the other Knights Panther. You don't catch this. His ears are far too sharp. They're all good. As the other Knights Panther saying, yeah, Sparrow Boy, it stops them rioting, doesn't it? As the other one says, perhaps if you get out of this system, there'll be a fight. They should be getting drafted into the army, not just sitting here chatting. As the pair of you pass by, the state army chap just bobs his head. Champion? Champion? It's champion.
You didn't even have to win the tournament.
As the pair of you pass through. It's a bit odd being a hero of Middenheim.
Yeah. Get used to it, though.
Yeah.
As we're passing by where people are leaving stuff, Ume will take out a paper folded like butterfly and place it with the offerings.
Butterfly down as it settles in amongst all the rest. The gathered paraphernalia of the mournful.
If she remembers, she would have written stuff on it.
I think
and
she
then
almost certainly
folded
would
it.
have,
Yeah.
yes. Sounds perfect. As you make your way into the main palace grounds. So the main palace itself has its own compound walls around it. You have to pass through those walls first, which basically takes you up the road to the gaping hole out the front, which you then have to pass to go over towards the main Wolfenplatz far to your left-hand side. And at the moment, there's a good 400 or 500 people beavering away, removing stone, hopefully finding people much like yourself who were still alive just a day or so ago. But no, that's not really what's happening now. Now it's finding bits of people. It's mostly just bits of people. And it is gruesome, difficult work. Many of them are moving with speed and alacrity. Others have to take their time aside. Others are crying because they are overwhelmed by something that they've seen. It's a mess. You're due to come back in there in the afternoon. You can't say you're looking forward to it, but there's also this grim satisfaction of doing something good, making a difference against this mess. As you pass by, again, Knights Panther, some of which are patrolling, they nod as you go by. You're a known entity, both of you. State soldiers as well, which are on high alert. They patrol by in small squads of 5, and they again nod as you go by until eventually you arrive over at the Wolfenplatz. On the outside there are 4 Knights Panther, 2 to either side of the door, as one of them looks over towards where you are. Maybe they all do. They've got helmets on. But one of them most certainly does, and says, "Oh, is there anyone that you're looking for?"
Mistress Elemenowith.
He says, "Oh," tugs on a bell pull at the side, which you hear in the distance. Tinkles away down below the ground. He says, "There should be someone to the door very soon." He says, "Shame it's such a lovely day. It feels like it should be overcast." He says, "Everything about this place feels wrong. How can it be summer?" He says, "You feel like it should be raining, cleansing away everything. This is Ulrich's city." He says, "You'd expect snow to herald the war. That's what I always expected. Snow to herald war, but blasted sun. I'm sweating like I'm sweating." He says, "Too hot."
Although you wouldn't want to march to war in the snow. That doesn't seem like a great time.
He says, "Well, say that to the Ulrichans." He says, "They seem to love that. Never understood. I did actually bring that up once." Another one says, "Really?" He says, "No, I did. I brought it up with the bloody wolf. Dog came up to me and we had a bit of a chat. It was one of those, tete-a-tete chats. It was more of an argument. And, well, you don't need to know the whole story. You just simply need to know that he came forward and he said something like, snow didn't bother them for war. Why should it? They're Ulrichans." To which I said, "So why's your campaign seasoning in the bloody summer? And why does it end come autumn? I mean, we're just about at autumn now. We've only got another day of summer. No, it's oh gosh, I think it's actually the first day of autumn. It's the first day of autumn day here. Oh, you just shut up. And yes, I do." He says, "Oh, it's Herbstag. Oh, I should really go down to the forest." He says, "It's Herbstag. Cool. Herbstag. Lower..."
I've got 1 point in Lower Empire. It's Lower Empire.
No.
Theology? Oh, I definitely got that.
I got 1 point in luck.
That's right.
You get to taste it!
So I'm going to let you roll first. See if you remember. Give you this moment.
I failed that one.
Oh,
Sad.
so close. You need 2. You
I
need
know.
2 points.
We're chill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got 20 advantage, so 2
Yeah,
successes.
2 successes. Herbstag. It's the first day of autumn, officially. Although you wouldn't have guessed it by the beating sun. It's hot, very hot. And as the day has progressed in the early morning and the cool has lifted, and you've moved out into the open glare in the palace grounds, without any shadows of the various buildings looming down over you, the heat has hit. And that heat is clearly making things probably better with the rioters, because obviously heat doesn't attract you. No. Yeah, it's probably going to be getting worse out there. But a day that is important to Tal, and a day where many would go to, interestingly enough, forests, where they would go out and they would effectively take the harvest in. They would be taking in many of the fruits that are ripe at this particular point. And even if there weren't any ripe yet, it's traditional to go into the forest and take some form of fruit and take a good bite of it as a way of saying thanks for the transition of summer through into autumn, as we're moving slowly but surely towards Ulrich's time, which is winter itself. But with only 2 successes, I shall stop there. As he says, oh, right, yes, of course. So anyway, I said, why? And you know what he said, of course. Shut up. I think that pretty much sums up them, doesn't it?
I'm surprised it wasn't Corsair, to be honest.
Well, I don't like to say their particular invectives. He says, you know what it's like. He says, as the door opens and a servant is there and says, yes. He goes, right, yes, you. He says, champions here, I want to speak to Her Royal Highness, LAWhammer. And you hear, right. Do please come in, he says. I must apologise for the tardiness. We're currently opening up more rooms in the palace, he says, and we're all quite busy.
Under the circumstances, no apologies required.
It's quite the bother, he says, opening so many rooms in very short order. We weren't ready or prepared for this, and so many of the staff are new for obvious reasons. As he then realises he's wittering, and he goes, pardon me. If you could come this way. And he leads you through to the very same reception room where you were gathered earlier, just the other day, with all of the Jaegers, the champions, and says, please make yourself comfortable. Would you like any refreshments? Some water? Wine?
Some wine would be lovely.
He says, we'll have some fresh scones, if you'd like some. The butter's been chilling down below.
That'd be marvellous.
Would you like some scones? He says, marvellous, I'll bring up some scones. He says, and he makes his way off. As he disappears, you're left to your own devices for a few moments inside the very same room where you had so recently made plans. Meanwhile, however, upstairs, he comes to LAWhammer. Hello.
Hello.
Turns out she's here too. Look, I can see on the screen over there. It's a real thing. And pops over and says, I apologise for interrupting. I knew you were preparing for whatever it is that you're preparing for. And then pauses, looks at the motley that LAWhammer is wearing and goes, I presume that doesn't matter. You have guests requesting you. Says,
Who are they?
2 of your champion fellows. Oh my goodness, I do. The father Leopold, yes, of Sigma, and of course I do remember Lady Tisoma of House Gautier.
Yes, I will come down.
He says. Some people. As he says, they're in the front gold hall.
Excellent. I shall make my way down.
Says, if you require anything, there's some wine and some water being taken to the room along with some scones. Would you like anything else? Should I tell the kitchen to prepare?
Would you mind awfully sending a quick message to the Chamberlain to say would like to speak to him for a few minutes?
I'll ask and see if I can find
Of
him.
course. If
I believe he's
not
opening
urgent.
up rooms on the 4th floor just now. So I'll go to the kitchen first, and then I'll go and see if I can find him. Will you make your own way down?
Of course.
He says, good. And off he goes. Meanwhile, downstairs, this room is really comfy, and it's kind of cool. Literally cool, but also kind of metaphorically cool. Nice room. The wolves all round, but the thick stones, obviously, of the palace keep this room particularly cool, and it has no rooms that are, and probably windows that are looking directly out onto the sun. So you've got it pretty cool.
Cool.
The fire is obviously not lit. As the scones arrive. As the servant nods, and much older servant in his, you'd say, 60s in comparison to the last one, who was, for all he was in his 40s. As he goes, nods like that. Is there anything else that you like?
I think that's everything, unless there's anything.
Do we need to take anything with us if we're gonna be there a while?
No, it's not too far. I think we'll be all right.
He says, well, if you need anything else, he says, the bell is just there by the fireplace. He says, if you press the bell, someone will come to you. He says, nods once, nods twice, and then backs off, turns round, and makes his way out of the room.
Is today, as it's Herbstag, a day to Kronos?
No.
Okay.
But it is. It is a different day of special note for you. It's your 30th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, I know that.
Your 30th wedding
But it's not an
anniversary.
elven day.
Nope.
Okay.
Up to you again. 30th wedding anniversary, which is not being celebrated with your actual wife.
Well,
Which,
these things
which of
happen.
your wives?
I only have one.
Have you? Okay.
So
That's
that that being the case, you arrive as he's making his way out. He sees you. His face goes very stiff.
Sorry, who was that?
The servant who's making his way out, the one that just offered them the
The older
bell
guy.
goes. His face goes very stiff.
Is that the deputy head of the household?
It is indeed the deputy head of the household, who just nods once and stiffly walks off quickly. As you can hear LAWhammer coming. You can hear because her footsteps are just lighter than everybody else's. Footsteps that you would normally associate with, because of their lightness, a child, but the stride is just too long.
Child on stilts.
Sure.
Wrapped in cloth.
Yeah. On quiet, light stilts.
As
Like a long-legged child.
you arrive at the door, are you entering?
I
My wife arrives. She is wearing motley.
Hello.
It looks like she was, but it's not the first time she's been wearing motley. She is wearing the very same outfit that she wore all the way back in Bergenhafen. The same motley outfit that she had all the way back then.
She'll flop down a chair. Hello. They're so busy.
I can only imagine, Your Royal Highness.
Indeed. Entertaining people.
It's a burden.
Mm.
And I'm afraid we've only come to potentially add to your burdens.
Well, what is it that you would like?
Well, do you want to...
You miss nibbling at the scone.
Or I can.
He looks at you.
We thought... But also, to his Sigmar senses, like, they're both really faint as well.
Yes. just crack on. Just bumble on.
Just chew is fine.
You just
She's
hear
not
her
helping.
munching.
Yeah.
You can hear her munching, and I know that she'll elbow me sharply in the ribs if she wants me to stop. Well, we were thinking it would be good to visit the woods, the Fey woods in the
Fey
gardens.
glade.
Yes, for a few reasons. I lost track of time, but hearing the Night's Panther, it's Herbtag today, but also Ume's father had sort of intimated to her that there may be connections between trees here and the trees back home in the pond.
Like the wildwoods.
I guess. Apparently the tree...
No, about them, no. Yeah, I do.
Whatever you think you know, I'm cool with it.
Oh, well, this Alum anyways, heard about it down in Altdorf when they said they'd opened them up and they were using them to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Through the wheelway.
Through the wheeled-way.
I mean, I don't know what that is, but from the name I can imagine. And apparently all routes connect to the tree back in the pond. So...
That sounds eminently plausible. Are you trying to go home?
No, I would rather not physically leave, but I thought I could get some insight, some help in our...
When I went to the Fey Glade recently, I took one of the wheeled ways and I came upon something that helped me greatly spiritually. I hope it shall also help you.
That would be nice.
But before we do that, if the Chamberlain is not busy, I was hoping I could introduce him to you properly.
Sure. Is there a reason why?
I think you have lots of things in common.
She thinks back to the Chamberlain. Okay. Sure.
She's setting you up with the Chamberlain. I mean, he's a young man. He's like 21.
That's exactly where Leopold's brain went as well.
He's handsome. Sure.
Sure.
Very well-spoken, urbane gentleman. But, wow.
What is it recently and the random, people trying to hook you up?
Who knows?
When I was interviewing him, I came upon some information about him that I think you would find interesting, but I mean, I don't know if it's true.
Oh, okay. Is he gonna tell me? Are you gonna tell?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Sure. Well done. Kept my face straight.
Sure.
Just maybe do a handshake.
Did he strike me as the sort?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay.
He struck you as the very sort of noble that members of your erstwhile crew would have probably been casting a very careful eye over. Anyone that's urbane in that fashion almost certainly is hiding something.
And he was also
But he is
covered
young.
up.
Pardon?
He was also covered up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like Yume's crosses, can you see them? They're on her hands, right?
They're on the inside of her hands, and you only see them if you're at the right angle.
Yes.
So
she could do the special handshake.
And she has been trained to keep her fingers pressed together.
Yeah.
She does it which means you literally can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when she is being purposeful in showing them that they would show, and even then.
He's grubby usually, so...
Yeah, and you need to look and know what you were looking for.
Absolutely. Very unlikely to be seen, in that you don't normally spot them.
No.
And to be fair, oh God, I've forgotten his name. The man in the forge.
Arthur.
Arthur. We didn't spot his until...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Hello, Arthur.
Yeah.
We should leave him a note.
What, to go to the Temple of Shalia?
Yes. Maybe...
Did we not tell you about...
We will have done.
Yeah,
but,
offshoot. Remember?
Yeah, but
Not yet.
No.
We'll have told some...
You'll have told the broad brushstrokes.
We downloaded
Yeah,
it, we
yeah.
did. Well, remember when we were down there talking to Arthur about Mills, and I had the sort of revelation about the cult Magus, and we followed the Divine Auguries to her house to get the letters.
Sure.
The reason that came about was because I was checking out whether Arthur was perhaps a good option for our friend here. And it turns out he had been intimate with said Magus, not realizing who she was. He indeed thought she was a member of the cult of Renown.
Well, I was just trying to recruit them because I thought it'd be handy, but then he mistook it as me trying to...
Yeah, right, sure. You were just trying to recruit him. I could feel the heat from your cheeks. Come on.
So rude.
I may not have eyes. That doesn't mean I'm not perceptive.
And I'm not blind.
We even spoke about it. You even asked me.
Maybe I'm trying to play cool, Leopold.
I'm sorry. This wine is terrific.
You two have got a whole different thing going on than you did yesterday. And I find that...
Well,
When you say yesterday, do you mean 5 days ago?
Sure.
But anyway, he stopped me from getting into his pants.
What?
But he should have...
Because I was worried that Artem might have, spiritual contamination from having dipped his wick in a cultist.
That's gross. Even for you. Come on. You're better than this.
It's a phrase.
So at least to let him know that he should get himself checked out. He might not know.
Well, of course, he's unlikely to know.
Yeah.
That
It's a nice thing to do.
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
Yes, you should absolutely do that.
Okay.
Would you like to know something profoundly, crushingly, irritatingly ironic?
Yes.
When I had the vision, this Magus, who has in the past masqueraded as a member of the cult of Renowned, she can change her appearance. She's a mistress of disguise. One thing that's always consistent is her nose. And I can see what her nose would look like. So if I could see, I could always recognize her. But I can't. And I can't describe, it just looks like a nose. I can't really, no way of conveying that knowledge to either of you to whom it would be profoundly useful.
You can see it in your mind's eye right now.
But have we met her? I can't remember. Have we met her? You
I
think so.
don't think
Unless
so.
she was the waitress at that inn when we first arrived.
If that was her.
It looks like the Chamberlain might be busy. I'll ring a bell.
Yeah. Certainly keep an eye. If you see anyone with a nose exactly like that waitress, who isn't that waitress, then
I don't even know what waitress you're talking about.
The blonde one that
Back with the Templar arms in.
felt weird, and then one of us
First thing you
realized
stayed in when you arrived in Middenheim.
Oh, that girl, the one that we tried to follow down the street.
Yes.
who was clearly informing to the cult, but whether she actually was this woman or not, we don't know.
Right.
Did she have a memorable nose?
Not that you can recall. As the door opens and the same chap who was there before nods once and says, can I help you with anything?
I had asked to see the Chamberlain, but I'm assuming he's busy. And we have other business to be about. So could you take him a message to say I have a friend of mine who I would like to introduce to him properly?
Of course. Would you like me to say who that is?
A friend from Altdorf, Sume.
Right.
And perhaps make an appointment in his diary.
Is there any time you would like me to suggest that he says?
Sometime today, because we're leaving.
Right, of course you'll be.
But right now
on the morrow, won't you?
Yes.
Well, I'll ask to see if he's got any time that he can do that. I'll go find him.
Thank you so much.
He goes off. I would like an intuition test from you two.
Just like, nope.
Yes. 5 successes.
He is profoundly uncomfortable about an elf. Profoundly. Yeah, in a way that he wasn't when you were speaking to him earlier. Clearly, he is profoundly uncomfortable with elves.
Okay. And elves in particular.
Well, I mean, around her, we're assuming it's elves.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, like-
very fair assumption. Yeah,
I'm
quite.
sure Alamanalife does plenty of things that some prudish people would frown upon, like...
Who's you with your reputation?
Red hand guilty.
Right, Fey Glades.
Okay, do we need anything?
You're going to have a problem getting there because you'll need to go through the compound the Knight's Panther compound to get there, to get into the main gardens, which means that you're going to need somebody to give you a pass.
I will need permission.
Yep. Not that he's profoundly uncomfortable or anything, but he does indeed not return, as a different servant arrives approximately a minute later, comes in. Your Royal Highness, man in his 20s, young.
Is the princess in the building?
Says, Your Royal Highness, she's there.
The Baron
Right.
is.
The Baron is currently overseeing duties over at Palace.
Oh, right. So in her absence, I would like to go to the Fey Glade. Oh, I know who we'll speak to. Speak to the Knight's Panther.
Would you like me to send one of them in for you?
Yes, please.
Anyone in particular?
The highest ranking one on the door.
Right. Turn bounce.
Indeed, I mean, if he's the one we were talking to, he himself noted that he needed to go to the woods because it was herb tech. So.
Maybe he could take us. Oh no, he's on duty. They don't like leaving their posts.
But if they're escorting us,
No, they couldn't leave their post at the door.
they would have to get another knight to take their place at the door.
Or take us to the Fey Glade. Maybe they couldn't change the schedule.
Not even if they were the ranking one.
No. Well, that would be chaos.
Wow. And I thought Sigmarites were rigidly dogmatic.
I wonder how Birdie's doing.
I mean, can you imagine? They would send for someone and the wrong knight would be there. And they're so hard to tell the difference between them too, so it would be very confusing for people.
Well, you just get another one who killed the same kind of thing, right?
No, it's far more complicated than that.
The door opens up and a helmetless, well, not quite, it's got it underneath his arm, Knight's Panther comes in. He looks like he's probably in his, you would guess, mid-40s. A good bit of salt and pepper going on through his hair, short beard, slate grey eyes as he comes forward and says, Your Royal Highness, I believe that you are looking for some assistance, he says.
Yes, please, Sir Knight. My friends would like to, along with myself, observe the holy day of Harbstag, and so we would like to go to the Fey Glade.
Of course. So you'll be looking for access through the compound. He says, I will send someone over to provide you with an escort.
Thank
He
you.
says, when do you wish to go?
As soon as possible.
Right. He says, Father, Royal Highness, turns around, goes.
It's weird having everyone know who we are.
It is. I mean, they all keep missing the high out, but you know.
I think we need to do...
High Father's not the, father is designated for everyone, unless they are introducing you, where you're then High Father.
Okay.
Also, unless you are in Temple, where you're then Revered Father.
Oh,
Quite.
thanks.
Revered Father. But outside of Temple, everyone defaults to Father, because the Sigmarites, like everybody,
And in a-
being the same.
In a military context, would they use the actual title of priest captain?
They definitely would, yeah. But that's assuming that you have been given the rank.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, were we actually out?
Correct. 100%. Then it's priest captain. But yes, Sigmarites, even for the Grand Theogenist, if he's out and about, Father, which is an interesting point. Holy Site, completely different.
Daddy G-Thog.
Daddy G-Thog.
That's just what I was thinking.
Do they have a book with all of the helmet poses so that they don't have exactly the same Beastman, for example?
Oh, like the way that it would be records of heraldry, but
Yeah.
like records of the...
I don't know, but you would imagine they would have to. But presumably when they get a commission, they have to go in that. They would have to be put in that book. So
We should try and get Birdie to kill something really funny for her.
like an oozy blob thing.
A jelly on her hand.
A jelly on her hat.
A Beastman with 3 horns.
No, I want an oozy blob.
A doppelganger that had taken the form of a child.
Oh, that's awful.
There's another thing you may be able to help us with.
These
Actually-
two
It's really dark.
so
since-
much.
Have you
You
had
can't
any
keep
wine?
up, can you, Elf?
I can't.
There was something else you may be able to help with, actually, a favour.
Is it a backflip? I've been practicing those.
It's not, but if you want to demonstrate a
I will.
backflip, I would love to
Please have an athletics test, please.
give myself my best chance of being able to see it.
Yeah, I thought you were spotting her. Oh, 42. It's a pass.
Yep, you're an elf, so that's a clean pass. Flip, flip,
Nice.
straight over, and her body does things that humans don't, because she can just bend herself back and touch the floor with her hands, so she can just, if she wishes, flip right back that way, and then handstand her way up and down. But this is done without her hands touching the floor. Her head just pivots, barely moves. As her
I
feet
did
back
this
moves.
down the corridor today, and one of the servants, some gentleman who was in here before, he was not happy about that.
Oh, that would explain why he was so profoundly uncomfortable earlier.
Oh, yes, it would.
But it wasn't that as impressive as that was. Would Emmanuel still be with us?
As she's outside the room,
Yeah.
just in case you've got any
Yeah.
private chat.
My novitiate out there.
Servants, they've got a place they can go outside.
Your
the main-
noviti.
Yes,
I get it.
Emmanuel.
Noviti.
No VT.
Sure. There's tensions in the city.
Mhm.
The High Temple of Sigmar is besieged by a mob.
It's not surprising.
It sounds like the High Capitular may have left Middenheim, I suspect, to go down to Altdorf, given the troubles.
It seems unlikely.
I know he'll probably want to consult with the Grand Theogenist. Almost called him G-Thog. I will not be sucked into that. But for whatever reason, he was in the High Temple this morning. He's not in the High
He's not
Temple
there
anymore.
anymore.
His flag is down. I mean, it could be
It means he's not in the city.
not in the city,
Yeah.
even. I mean, it could be an ambush, I suppose.
Should be.
A ruse. But if the flag is to be believed, he's not in the city. My novitiate has some books within the temple
Mhm.
that would be very useful for her to have. She didn't bring them because she didn't realise it would be a problem for her to get back there. I'm wondering whether it's possible to get some kind of official escort to get into and out of the temple.
Possibly. I will talk to the princess later.
There are members of the watch protecting,
But it sounds like they should take more action than just an escort and try and break up that demonstration.
I was also
Perhaps the Elricans should step in and show some kind of solidarity.
Good chance of that? No, not a good
Slim
chance
to
of
none.
that.
I know a priest who might.
Mm.
The priest that Leopold befriended at the Oregon Temple, who would love to fucking get one over on Werner.
Mm.
If he was the one who saved the temple after Werner left,
Mm.
he'd fucking love that.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, you would.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need help writing a
sense-
letter?
I mean, I honestly don't know if he reads. But I could, yeah. I could send him a letter.
That could definitely be a method of potentially securing Ulricans who would be interested
Yeah,
in saving Sigmarite.
yeah. Well, maybe we could send him a letter to, I don't know, are we allowed guests
I guess
into the palace compound?
that's something you've yet to test.
I bet you could get away with it.
Yes, except I wouldn't because I don't like Elricans.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
You could go to that brothel.
We could.
Why don't I'll start drafting you a letter.
Yeah.
I mean, we're waiting
Yeah,
for
yeah,
something.
totally.
We're waiting for the Night Panther.
Right,
escort.
and write a letter and tell him to meet you in that brothel. I'm banned from that.
Why
Whatever.
that? We don't have to meet him in that brothel.
Then you could go straight to Aurora through it if you needed to.
Shh, you can't tell anyone that. It's top secret.
But it's Leopold.
I can probably think of somewhere logical that we can meet on the graph. I mean, Schmiedhammer's house. We could meet there, I suppose.
That's quite distant from the temple, but yeah, you could. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
if
neutral
it's near the palace.
Yeah,
though.
totally. Yeah,
That's what I
it's very
mean.
near to here.
Yeah.
It's good.
And we could maybe send a letter to Dieter to warn him that he may have an Orcan turn up. And maybe ask him if he can come this evening, so we know we'll definitely have finished whatever we're going to do. And,
Meet at Schmiedhammer's house at 8th bell.
I was also
Just
thinking
randomly pluck that out here.
we should steal that Jade Wizard's semen.
You mean his salves?
I was going to say, of all the places I thought we were going to go, a jizz heist was not it.
It's really hard to keep my face neutral.
I think that maybe Boris was pulling Garhardt's leg a little bit with what exactly the Jade Wizard does, and also I suspect that
the Jade Wizard was pulling Boris's leg.
yes, maybe a combination of the two things. But you're
Bernie
right.
said that the salve did contain fluids. I just choose to believe the worst option.
I mean, that's what he said. I think he said it had that in it.
I wasn't better, but
That's what Birdie said, but
Okay.
not just fluid. I think she specified the fluid.
Then I was correct. We must steal the man's semen.
I'm just not sure it's his. I mean, it could be from a dog, a horse,
I
a
don't know if
kestrel.
I mean, I would just... We've... And this is where I... but we met a Jade Wizard before.
Which
Didn't we?
one? When?
Did we meet a Jade Wizard before? We did something with blood. Am I
Yeah, we walk
imagining
around with one all the time.
Did we?
Maybe not. I don't know if I'm...
I am not recalling any that stand out in my...
Yeah, are we remembering someone else's
well,
side
that's
street?
it. I might. Yeah. Well, more to the point, I may be remembering a whole other campaign altogether.
Yeah. Anyway, I finished this letter. Why do we need to steal it? Let's just ask him for some salves.
So I thought Birdie asked, and he said that a Jade Wizard has to apply it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
Got any lore magic?
Yep.
And then you roll it.
ooh.
Look at
You've
that!
got lure magic, just like her lure theology.
1 point!
Nice.
No, I've actually got 3 points.
Ah, you're an expert.
I passed.
Then likely it requires him to channel to make it work.
I'm afraid it wouldn't work because the Jade Wizard would have to channel. But worth a thought. Winks.
I see.
Really badly.
Nods his head because he doesn't have eyelids.
We should put a little stick on your blinds.
Like tugging his blindfold.
Yeah.
We're not in a room that is this room,
Is this room what?
you know,
What?
does it have two-way mirror?
Down this floor? No, it doesn't.
Wow.
This palace is mad. It's got mirrors everywhere.
Mirrors.
Mirrors.
My room
Mirror,
had a secret
mirror,
passage.
Mirror, everywhere. Upstairs, when we opened it up, just mirrors everywhere. I was like vampires.
Or maybe there's some magical purpose.
Yes, but everyone says this palace is cursed. So I think that maybe once a vampire was in the court of Middenheim and just got them to forget about this palace and all the mirrors that were in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they could, and at one stage, the court of Middenheim had mirrors everywhere to root out the foul creatures. And now they don't. Looks around. It could be lurking anywhere.
A knock comes from the door.
And do come in.
A knight comes in. This particular knight has got a panther helmet. Not the panther that lies over the helmet to suggest they've yet to take their first kill, but an actual panther that is curled up with its paws out like so up on his helmet. So he comes in, and from beneath the helm, the knight says, I believe you have requested an escort through the compound to the palace gardens. He says, that being the case, I am here to provide you with said escort. I was told that you wish to leave as soon as possible. Is that now, or should I?
We're ready to go, Sir Knight. I just need to get this letter sent. Rings bell.
Servant will take said letter
Have this letter
and
sent to the Temple
ensure
of
that it's sent to the Temple of Aldrich.
And also one to Speedhammer as well. Just to...
Don't get it mixed up with my weekly ranting missive to R. Ulrich. My complaints.
If you don't know, Alan sends a letter every week to R. Ulrich about the Ulrich.
I still do that.
Yeah.
She has been doing it since the streams began. She just doesn't talk about it very often. But R. Ulrich almost certainly has somewhere in the region of around about 40 letters from Alan.
Have you tried sending any via the brothel?
Nope. Send it via the front gate. Via the Imperial Post Service.
He's probably really sad right now. You know, all the ladies at court died.
I would imagine he is sad
Oh, I'm
about,
fine. I'm cool.
about many of the losses that the city has
It's a
suffered.
tragedy.
It is absolutely. I'm sure you will have known a number, Sir Knight, and I am sorry for your loss.
He says, I lost many of my brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
He says, come, let's not get caught in maudlin affairs.
Of course.
You make your way in front of the palace.
Leopold will pocket a scone,
Excellent.
and as he picks up his novitiate, we'll just pass it to her.
She'll be taking that one. She'll be pocketing that. Thank you very much, High Father. As you all make your way in front, the knight pauses as it comes up and makes, not that sort of pause, and makes a bow before the crater and puts his hand up to his chest where there is a small black rose enameled pin badge. And then continues walking along. As you make your way along, Boris Tallbringer himself is over there. You hear him bellowing, I think I'll bloody hear someone. Up my bloody way! As his sword goes down into the ground and he starts opening up a floor
Well,
using
maybe they find a baby. Babies often survive. And
the sword. As that sword gets drawn, you get a wallop in your face. Karakzonas! As it hits you square in the middle of your face, and you need to do yourself what amounts to an endurance test with difficulty 4.
Ooh. I'm guessing I'm not chill.
You so totally not got advantage in this round.
I fail by 2%.
Oh, nicely done. As you're knocked from your feet and skid down onto your bum. As your novitiate almost trips over you because she's trailing behind you, hits you, and immediately looks down. Are you all right, Father? And are you all right?
Yeah. The graph just, yeah, it's fine.
First time that happened.
Yeah, I was going to say last time
Something's
you
clearly
nothing
changed.
happened. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you,
Mhm.
in my last side stream, we talked about how everything in Middenheim was a bit muddy to
Yep.
Leopold's senses. Is
Yep.
it still as muddy?
You didn't notice it drop.
But now,
It seems to be less muddy. Something has changed.
something has changed.
As
That's a nice
he,
gnomic thing for Leopold to say.
pulls,
Something has changed.
across, and can I have a cool test, please?
Still not chill.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like
not.
fortune point now.
if they're going down into darkness,
Oh, well, that's cool.
if he can hear someone, if he can,
I've got 1 in 10
wait,
chance
wait,
here because
if
it's
he
70
can-
something.
If he can hear someone and they're going down into darkness, then elf eyes and Leopold ears would be very helpful.
Very
potentially.
possibly.
Yeah, we'll.
Although you're both sworn off the place now because you've already worked on it previously. You're only allowed to come in for 4 hours by the order of the graph every day.
I haven't done my shift yet today.
You haven't done your shift yet today. I mean, neither of you have done your shift yet today if you wish to do so. Although you are shifted in for later.
But we could, do a little bit
You're
of our shift
almost
now.
certainly going to get shouted at.
Okay, fine.
Just warning you
Yeah,
ahead
we
of
don't
time.
want to
I failed the cool
undermine-
test, so it made me irrelevant.
We don't want to undermine
as
his authority.
You feel yourself. I mean, it's not the most glorious way to move. Bum shuffling north.
Good. I thought you were going to make him soil himself again.
No,
That's all.
As you feel yourself sort of shuffling forward, and you get yourself up, and you start crawling for a few moments,
let's maybe-
pushing yourself northwards, which is towards the
towards-
palace itself,
yeah.
before you take control of yourself again. As you can feel it, it's the power of the sword. It was drawing you north.
And that's stronger than anything ever Barrack cool,
Yeah.
and stronger than Granny wasn't as
You
close
were
to
not close to that other one.
Draktuk, but yeah.
Yeah. Is it just the vagaries of these things? Is it something else? It's possible to know.
No one else hears its name every time it's drawn.
Totally.
Right? It definitely feels like there's something.
That was a thing. For the brief moment, you saw what looked like a square spiral in front of your face.
Yeah, the rune he recognizes from.
There's less of a look on both of your sides. You can see that square spiral half hidden by his blindfold,
like it's stamped into his face.
sitting on his forehead. It looks a little bit like
Like a
someone's
bruise.
just come along and done this. Boff! With... No, it's not as heavy as a bruise. It's more like a stamp, and it's red, sitting on his forehead. And it's not fading yet, but it's definitely there.
You have a physical remnant of whatever you just experienced upon your forehead.
You might want to pull
Well,
your
it's slightly
blindfold
tender.
up a bit.
Yeah, it's slightly tender. It feels a bit sore, but it doesn't feel sore, just slightly tender.
Feels a little. I felt. You remember?
I can see the rune.
Tug it up a little bit.
I know that rune because I've got it in my diction,
Not
my
only
lexicon.
have
You got it on your sword.
But you also have it on your blade, and the blade that the Elector Count of Middenheim is carrying also carries the same rune.
Did the spiral look like
I'll
if
show you.
the object had pressed onto his forehead, or the other way around? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, which way round is it? Is it the way it is on the sword, or is it reversed because
It
it's
is
pressed?
the way it is on the sword,
Ah.
so it's not the reverse. Yeah, good
Interesting.
call. Good one. Yeah, I like that.
Good insight.
you are a rune fan.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And
You can, if you're on Discord, go use that rune right now if you wish to do so. It is one of our emojis. But that aside,
And Karak Zornas? Is that what it's called?
Karak Zornas.
What is
Which
it?
is
Peak leveler.
Peak leveler.
Check me.
Nice.
I only know that because I know that this is a single rune that represents Karak, which means mountain stronghold. She's been creating her dwarf lexicon.
As the knight turns around, sees you're sitting down, and goes,
Attempts to climb to my feet.
I didn't intend to be that long.
Oh no, he fell. He fell, Sir Knight.
Oh.
He lost his footing.
I lost my foot in
Sorry.
his hands. I'm fine, thank you.
Helps you up. It's easy to forget, but all of the people who are swarming around as Boris does his thing are either wearing black, if they can afford such matters, got black armbands. Some of them have got black flowers tucked in. All of them have some form
I've
of
got black
on them.
makeup.
Yes, your black makeup.
And
on
the
your eyes.
rune of vengeance down one half of my face.
Quite right. Too.
Nice.
She's been wearing it constantly since she daubed it on her face in Katerina's blood.
Nice. Intense. You do you.
Yeah.
Is black wax a thing that can be...
Black
Good.
wax is indeed. It's relatively expensive,
So
but it's
maybe Leopold could have like a prayer seal
like
with black
that.
wax.
Perfect. Yeah, that's really good.
As we go past, is there any sign that they have actually found a living person?
No, they're pulling out a body already.
Oh.
It's not the first, as there's a pat from the electric count on Alvin's face as you're making your way by. Oh my God, it's grim business there. I knew that, man. The heat. He must stink.
Mm.
Let's make our way to the compound. As he makes his way over towards the compound. So there's a big wall that sits between the main palace and the compound part, and it's tall, really tall, with several gates that pass through it, 3 primary ones. And you go over to the one that is southernmost, and he, upon arriving there, is just automatically let through. The gate has a smaller door in it, which just opened, as that leads you through to the compound on the other side, where it opens out into a large area where there's large training grounds for horsecraft. There's large grazing grounds. There's it's really a palace that sits over in the middle. And Knight's Panther symbols everywhere on the inside. There are pennants hanging down with the blue and gold of the Knight's Panther. Not that you're aware of this, but they are fluttering slightly in the wind, and you can't hear them.
And that's the palace we went
I
to
say wind.
when we
No,
first
it's dead.
arrived.
It's still. It's too hot today, so no. Pardon?
That's the palace we went to when we first arrived in Middenheim.
No.
No. When you went to the Kralaplatz, which is the main palace is there. Kralaplatz is on one side, and the Wolfenplatz is on the other. and both of them are tower-like in comparison to this long, broad, squat, crater-filled palace in the middle.
This is not a palace. It's the Knights Panthers headquarters, which we haven't been to together.
No, you haven't.
I've been to a party here. It was nice. Very well appointed.
The knight says,
Sumptuous.
"So you've been there, have you? Which one did you attend?"
Oh well, I don't know if you recall, but the swearing in party, the princess had to go to it because her brother left and her father wasn't there.
Oh, right.
So
yes.
I was there very briefly, just waiting for her. I didn't get to see the festivities, unfortunately.
I see, yes. Well, there you go. It's rather grand inside. Rather grand.
Yes,
When I first came here, I was quite surprised at just how grand it is.
I spent most of my time waiting downstairs with the servants.
Ah, of course. Very busy if it was in one of the swearing-in ceremonies.
Oh, it
Very
was
busy
busy.
downstairs. They have people from across the empire. They come in and they get themselves prepared. I went down into the servants' quarters 2 years back, and there must be at least 400 or 500 of them down there, all of which were preparing for some sort of local ritual or local thing. I didn't understand most of it. I'll admit I sort of walked through in a bit of a daze, turned around and went right back out again. Leave them to do whatever it is that they're doing, really. It says, and there, Birdie will be delighted to know you do indeed get an opportunity to see her on the back of a horse, looking as comfortable as you would expect, as they have moved it to a slow trot. And she is swaying with eyes wide.
She really hates it, like when
Looking-
she can see a lot and
Yeah.
being on a horse, just like you get such a
Looking-
vista.
Just agoraphobia.
Utterly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
utterly terrified.
What a shame.
Her shoulders hunched up, yet as if the sky itself is about to fall on her and kill her.
Oh, God.
Her head
Weirdly-
pointed down with, you can hear constant calls of, lift up your shoulders, lift up, Lady Knight, lift up your shoulders, lift up your head, lift up your head, lift up your head. No, stop it, stop.
She'd be better off if she was wearing her helmet.
Blinkers.
Yeah, she wouldn't see as much.
She'd be better off on a tree with a saddle on it.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure how much she'd learn from that.
The basics. She'd learn the basics, which clearly they haven't started her with. You're right, though. The helmet would work.
As a conversation ensues between Birdie and whoever it is, she is doing her very best to appear noble. As you all make your way past,
Bless her.
she has obviously not seen you as you make your way by.
At least she doesn't fall off.
It's a rather untypical situation. Obviously, I knew that you are her friend. That you are all. I was there at the ceremony when you all received your your commendations. Very good. Your rewards. Yes, of course. And it's very odd, being a knight already and not actually knowing how to ride.
It is odd. I
Says
can see
odd.
that.
Yes, it's a bit of a curiosity. There's currently between yourselves and myself, there's a little bit of a bet going around as to how often she's going to fall off. It's not a matter of when; it's a matter of how often. I believe the highest stake at the moment is more than 50 times today. I don't know how many there have been today, but I do know that when I left, there had been 6.
Wow. I mean, given her temper, I'm surprised she stayed around for that long, but I suppose she's maybe got no choice.
Well, no.
Mm.
It says, and everyone's temper's somewhat short just now, given everything that's occurred, and they are being relatively strict with her, from what I hear, because she is going to be representing them on more stages than I think she prepared for. It says, which is obviously a thing, and let us get to the gate. And gossiping. Look at me gossip. Have you ever heard the cat's gossip? It's an absolute lie.
Of course.
He says as he makes his way forward. Goodness.
Just like the dogs.
He says, as he looks back, dogs don't gossip. They just get drunk and can't keep their tongues in their mouth. Lolling away at all the passing, women of, repute and so on. He says as he makes his way over. at the gate on the other side, the man-at-arms who are there, 'cause it's not knights and core gates, it's man-at-arms, all of whom are not noble. Oh, my lord, it says, oh, no. He says, it's all sirs today, and so on and so forth. We are going through, so, pip. Of course, opens up, and on the other side, the gardens spill out before you. Where you are, from your position, I'm going to see.
Bless you.
It's all the pollen from the gardens.
Yeah, totally. The pollen, it is summer, floods through. The rays of a hill up ahead of you, at the top of which there's a shrine to a god. You don't even know which one it is. A main road that passes through towards a large, what appears to be a bandstand from this distance. Another path that's over on the other side, and all of the primary woodland is over to your far left, directly from where you've come in. So your best route is to actually just tuck along the small path and then go over there. As he goes, I believe this is where you need to be left to. I'll leave orders on the gate here to allow you through. And obviously, you're going to be able to get out again once you're in. So you'll be able to pass over. But I'll make sure that the order, in fact, you, funny man, he says, yes, you. They're going to be passing through again, so you don't leave your post until they pass through again. Just in case. He says, what if they're, what if they go out main gate or something and they don't come for days? Not that anything like that's ever occurred or anything. I'm just trying to, preempt it. Says, oh, well, obviously, if they go, they're not here by the end of the day. Then you can chop off at whatever time. Just pass the order on. Idiot. Bloody hells. Can't get a fucking man-at-arms these days. Pardon my language. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so you get the idea. Let them bloody through. Escort them across, that sort of thing. Give them all, orders to whoever else. I don't know. Sort it out. Absolute nonsense. You just... He says, oh, no, I'm not going with you.
Thank
he says,
you, Sir Knight.
I was about to go with you. I'm not going with them. Why didn't you tell me? He says as he turns around. Right. He says, good day. May it all go very well with whatever it is that you plan. The gardens are almost deserted because they are closed most of the time. And the carnival is over where they're opened up to the public. Meaning that these are now just royal gardens. Interesting that the only access that you have to them are through the compound, suggesting that, I don't know, nobles get through it whenever they want, or are they just showing off about the night? So exactly what's going on here.
Where's the folly? Is that in different
The
garden?
folly's in a different part.
In a different
That's over on the main
like
palace grounds,
private garden.
where the
Palace
maze is over the main palace
okay.
grounds, and the Middenheim field over there as well, which one of you knows rather well, and well, you know the maze, Middenheim field, and you know the maze. And that rises up to a hill, which gives you a good view of the entire area. The big mausoleum for the various dukes of the past is down in that part of the palace as well.
So the bit where we got the cultists and Sigfeder like sliced them all into bits. That was here.
Yeah, that was here.
Maybe just avoid that bit of the garden.
Yeah, quite. That was a thing that happened.
Yep.
And last time you were here, the access to the wheeled way was granted to you by obviously someone else.
Yeah, but we don't need to go to the wheeled way.
Well, of course you don't, presumably. But you know where that access
I know roughly where it is, so I can go there.
And that was Alavandra.
Yes.
Who gave you that. But clearly, he ain't here.
So we can go to where I went last time to get into the wheeled way, but it was Alavandrel who let me in, and obviously he's not here. So we'll have to muddle through.
Or is it an elf thing? Will they be upset if we go?
Undoubtedly. The elves hate anyone doing anything to anything that might possibly belong to them. So yes, they would be upset, but luckily it's me here, your local friendly elf. Last time we just sort of bled on it, sort of seemed to do the trick. We could give it a shot. He's not dead, by the way. Apparently, according to the graph, he goes out hunting after the carnival and he'd already left. I hope he's not dead.
Well, I was going to ask, but then I thought we were pretending that we didn't know him that well, so...
Yes, but now we're by ourselves.
Okay.
Which is fair. You are indeed by yourselves, making your way across the gardens, across the path, and then over towards the main trees themselves. They are tall and they barely rustle because there's barely any wind.
What we are pretending, as you know, I'm Her Royal Highness, some princess elf. I'm sort of maybe his cousin, niece, something like that.
He has not confirmed any of this.
He hasn't agreed to that yet because he's out, so don't mention it to anyone. But hopefully he'll, come on side.
We'll just say elf things.
Yes,
They'll understand.
everyone thinks all elves are princesses anyway.
Yeah, that's true. And if you need to, if you want to tell people that you're related, but before he's confirmed that, just use the elf word for whatever cousin is. They won't know what that word is. He's my elf word.
Well, they keep on asking me, people keep asking me if I'm related to him, and I have to say that I was named for one of his relatives. That's not strictly untrue.
You pass over the periphery of the forest line. There's paths that lead through it, well trod, and the forest intuition test.
Oh, I'm so tired. Falls asleep in forest.
That should be fine. 2 successes.
2 successes. As you pass through, it feels, alive.
That's a nice change.
It's an unexpected change. As you pass over it, and it feels spiritually alive. Like the spirits here are alive. Can't hear them or see them, but they're here. They're definitely here. That's the first time you felt that outside of Nippon.
Nice.
And it's a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
It feels almost calm.
Yeah. You won't see it, but you will perceive her relaxing a little bit.
A little small tomorrow.
Does this part of the forest feel different to Alaminowith, or is it just the same to her?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it doesn't feel special at all to
No, not the slightest.
Cool.
As you pass through the periphery, the shade of the sun begins to dapple and then slowly but surely give way to shadow as you slip beneath the trees themselves. It's still bright here for those of you who can see, but for you in particular, the beating sun is removed from your head. You suddenly feel, you realize how much sensation you were getting from the heat of the sun, and now it's been removed. You can feel your head a little bit more clearly, where that rune stamped into it. Yeah, that's actually a bit sore. I mean, it's not uncomfortable, it's just a bit sore. As you can't help it.
It's weird as well.
Yeah, can't help but touch that a little. Is it? Yeah.
Is it permanent?
Yeah. It's not. It's already looking like it's calming as you see him.
I mean, if it was, it might mean that I'm able to headbutt my way through stone walls, which, not gonna lie, would be really useful. Boom!
Is his novitiate with us?
If you wish her to be, she will be trailing.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe we should leave her at kind of the sort of sitting in the fey, like outside the fey glade.
Yeah,
she might not,
leave her there with her copy of the guy's book.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guy's book will do this perfectly.
And I'll
leap on.
I'll tell her a particular bit to read.
Sort of like within sight of the man at arms, so we know she's.
Yeah.
There's none on this side. You need to knock on the doors to get through.
But within, so if something horrible happened, she could run there quickly.
She could scream.
Yeah.
And also, if anything is coming our way, she can scream. So, not that we're paranoid about terrible things happening.
She just nods and pulls out her little guy's book and starts making her way through it.
Cool. Once she's out of earshot, she doesn't freak out yet. I'm sure she will have plenty of opportunity for that later. Umi will say, we should have brought more offerings. I guess our blood will have to do, but I should have thought about it.
Blood would not be a preferred offering.
Yeah.
What?
Well, because she said that they use blood.
Totally. Yeah.
What type of offering would you normally give?
It depends on the spirit. my sword prefers, the oil I use to sharpen it. Some prefer food. It depends.
I did bring a little picnic.
Well, that might do in a pinch.
As you're making
I
your way
thought it
through,
would be nice.
you arrive at a clearing. The clearing itself is relatively circular, and tall stones line the edge of it. And they curve ever so slightly inwards, giving that sense of being loomed over, as each one in a great circle. 20 of them in a big circle, much like the signs of the zodiac, all laid out. As you pass in here, the ground is beaten out, leaving a small tuft of grass in the middle. But most of it's all beaten out. This place is obviously a common gathering point for whatever it is that they do in this particular clearing. The main wood where you went to is much deeper into the actual forest itself, past these stones. These stones have got some local relevance of something or another. You also were told that very possibly they were moved, and originally they were much further in, and they got moved out to this place. At one point, this entirety of the park used to be forest, and now it's been cut right back to this small, let's call it glade.
Do you think it was moved to stop humans interfering in the elf stuff?
Probably.
We just continuing on?
Yeah, I mean, I take it we don't get any special
No.
mojo from the statues or anything.
I'm sort of letting, we'll go on. But
Yeah, maybe just
Are they?
touch one.
Yeah, are they
as we
marked
pass.
at all? Like if they're like the signs of the zodiac, do they have the signs of the zodiac on
No,
them?
they don't.
No.
They're just stones which are all raised up, almost like talons or claws.
Yeah.
All the way
Well,
around.
I don't know. I hearing Stone Circle reminds me of the Demon's Ball and stuff. And you don't want to walk in and end up somewhere else and stuff.
Yeah.
If this isn't the
Again.
place,
Yeah.
then maybe just pat the rock, go forward.
Presumably passing through the circle, since that's where the path is.
Yeah.
Occasionally, apparently.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't get whisked off to another realm, and nothing goes frightfully awful as you pass through onto the other side. You're now only about 2 minutes or so away from where you went deeper. This place still feels alive. Best way of putting it. It doesn't feel like there's something about to jump out at you and say hello, or you've got no weird sensation. It just feels alive. It's really difficult to pin down what that means.
it's just along a little bit where I came with Alevandra.
Do you feel the difference in this forest to the other ones?
Just feels like a forest to me.
Feels different.
Good. Different?
Last time it did feel different, but at a different bit.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Feels like back home.
That's
Feels
good.
like there's things alive, like they should be.
Well, I
Intuition
suggest
test from yourself, please.
Okay. Probably not, but unless we're chill,
You do not have advantage.
I will reroll. 3 successes.
You think you're being watched.
I guess we can talk quiet, like without speaking. So she will.
No, because I've only got thieves' signs,
you've got only
and
thieves'
you've
signs?
got I don't have thieves' tongue. Yeah,
Thieves' tongue involves speaking as well.
yeah, I've got secret signs,
Secret
thief,
signs
which
means
is
it's actual
like
signs and
yeah,
marks
like
and
marks.
crosses.
that
Language
you
battle.
put-
Yeah.
No.
Language battle. Well, they can hear quite well, so she will whisper as quietly as she can. I think there's somebody watching us. Something. Someone.
I shall
Yeah.
engage my
Can do
intuition
yourself
and
a perception
perception.
test. Sure.
engage my ears
Yeah,
also.
do yourself a perception test.
perception, not intuition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perception.
9 successes.
Less than that. 4, 5, 6 successes. What?
Fewer.
We both did it. We got fewer. Edit mode. I'll dub that one in later. Fewer. Hey, I've got fewer.
It'd be
Successes.
hilarious if you did that.
It would be quite funny. Half tempted. Fewer.
Or do you like to do on YouTube videos and just have it pop up on text in front with a little asterisk fewer?
That aside, you're not hearing anything other than the slight sway of the branches. It's the slightest of sway. Up this high, it's catching a wind that obviously would be dead.
It's quite soothing, actually. Quite
Yeah.
calming.
And it's the slightest, but no sensation of anything at all around here. And if anything, it feels a bit more gnawingly real as each moment passes to yourself, you mean.
But not necessarily like bad.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's a problem though.
I'll just whisper Falgul, cast a little spell.
What spell are you casting?
Falgul with hackles to give me 6 cents.
Nice.
That is a pass. And not
Often you see Alabama with casting a spell.
You do.
Love it. As you channel a very gentle flow of Ulgu, largely drawing it from around the suspicion that is gathered about those two, and using that suspicion to drift around and move over your neck at the back to warn you should anyone attempt to strangle you. As it settles there, and nothing. Do you have 6 cents? You do too.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Because you are dead to the world in that front.
I'm the one sneaking, not the
Quite.
other way around.
So are we continuing staying? What's our plan?
Very much letting Amy lead the way.
Well, if we might as well try the thing you mentioned.
we haven't got there yet, have we?
No, you're
No, we're still. We've got a little way to go.
Are there like rituals that you would do?
I'm sure there's plenty. I don't really know
Or like
that
a
many.
Maybe
like a prayer or a
maybe
greeting?
you could start. What did your father say? Just to touch it? Didn't you say that earlier?
Well, he just intimated that they are all connected. He kind of told me that, I should just be able to figure it out on my own in the same way that we all learn how to walk or run.
I will say, your instincts thus far have been quite good. Your instincts were to come here. You come here and it feels alive, like you felt home. I think trust yourself a bit more.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like usually people learn how to walk because they've seen someone walk, and he's kind of forgotten to mention that part. But there are a few things that he showed me that he could do.
Right.
So I'm gonna try with those first, but one of them is literally see better, and that's not very helpful. So I'm gonna do my best.
That's why I think if I take you to the spot and you can sit there and,
We can
take it in.
We can try the meditation again in a
Come
place
with it.
that feels different.
Yes.
The results of the meditation may well be different.
Yes, I do think that he learned it instinctually in a place where it was easier for him to do, and then therefore here when it's different he can still do it, whereas I grew up over here, it's not the same.
So you've not been steeped in it in the same way that he was.
As you are led deeper into the glade, and the junction leads down into it, and you remember stumbling out of here. And as you look down, that's when it starts feeling a bit different to you. And it's like it's darker. It isn't any darker on you. There's no way different in the slightest.
It could be high noon, it could be midnight.
Yeah,
It's no
quite.
difference to
But
Leopold.
for you, it's a little bit like it's darker and the distance feels ever more growing.
Shire hobbits.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yeah. It just makes you feel a touch uncomfortable because you know there are things down there that are hungry.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't go all the way down.
Looks fine to you, just looks like another little path through the glade.
So maybe we try and you can sit and commune here and do some meditation and see how it feels.
She looks quite uncomfortable.
Are you okay?
Well, down that way there are things that are hungry.
I thought that's why you gave them blood.
Yes, but it's like you said. So in this analogy, I'm the you, and Alavandrel is your father, and he told me what blood to give and when to give it and how to give it. What if we gave too little and just made them ravenous?
What if they're only hungry because the offerings they get are blood?
Yeah.
Do you think the offerings you give influences what the spirits are? I mean, you talked about how the spirits can change.
Yeah, I mean, in Marienburg, where we met the first time, they have a festival where they give coins.
I've got some coins.
to Manan,
You're welcome
right?
to.
The
To Manan, right?
yes,
Yeah.
but he does they prefer things like seaweed instead than the coins. It's actually not that helpful to give them gold. So it's
No, I don't have gold.
it happens.
Yeah.
Well, coin.
Yeah.
I don't know. Usually the fox would be helpful in this situation to tell me.
It would guide you.
Yeah.
It would lead you to where you should be. It would sit down and it would maybe make a few perpy little noises spinning on the spot and then sit down where you should be able to sit down.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think Alavandro would be very happy to be compared to a fox, but
Is it like a T-junction that we're at? Or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if
Carry on.
that way leads to
Danger.
what's the other way?
Just leads out as far as you're aware.
I think it just leads out.
I mean, we could try walking down that little way, see what it's like.
yeah, I mean, to me it all feels the same still. But
I mean, trust your instincts. They've steered us right so far.
So are we going down or are you carrying on?
Well, presumably, right. It's not like there's like a barrier. So like humans must come here and just walk through it.
Mhm.
Yeah, well let's just go down. I'm sure it'll be fine.
you could roll your bones.
I could roll my bones. I could do a little
Yeah, I'll
augury.
stand back here.
I'll sit down, do a little augury.
Center yourself. Small prayer to Sigmar, and then, as strange as it is, roll the bones.
Yeah.
You may could ask him a question.
Yeah. Successful.
Which way should we go?
You roll the dice. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Which was 6. All show ones. All separate. All discrete. There's only one way through this. Problem is, there's only one way through this. Sadly, that's what your divination gives you.
Apparently there's only one way through this.
That is a very unlikely outcome, you think, in terms of your neophyte understanding of supernumerate.
Maybe it means Ume has to do this herself without him.
Okay, well, let's try it, and I'll see what I feel there, and maybe it'll be blood, and maybe it'll be something else.
Like out of character? Can she ask a question? Is this like another session for the purposes of a question?
Well, if Andy wants to try and do the maneuver, it's up to him if he hears a question.
Yeah, he can't when I ask a
I
question.
know that.
So.
You don't need to tell me the things I know. I know it.
What did you just ask? I wasn't listening.
No,
I wasn't listening. I wasn't thinking of it as a question.
I don't know if you want to use it now
Yeah.
because we clearly want to go that way. It's
Yeah.
fine. We'll go
Maybe
that
when
way.
it comes to you deciding what offering you're going to do,
Yeah.
you'll be like, I wonder what would be the right offering here.
Yeah.
What I might do, since we paused, is I've now realised that divinations, I don't know when this changed, but they only last for the session. So I'm going to do a little divination.
Be very
as well. Yes, successfully divined. Just because that's useful for when I do
all
things
ones.
Well, that's alarming.
There's a game we play in the gambling den where if you do that, you win, but never really happens usually.
Maybe take your dice there. And again, all separate, none of them touching.
Yeah.
They clatter down all once.
But the divination works.
Yeah.
And does he... But again, it's a sense of...
It's the sense of there is only a single route through this. Any alternative is dangerous.
Right. Dangerous.
That's a nice thing for him to say out loud.
Again, the bones are telling me there's only one way through, and then the other way is dangerous.
We know of a way. It's probably the right way. No expert. Let's go.
Is that enough for me to use an oracle maneuver?
No.
We know of a way. It's probably the right way. Like, is the way she's talking about the right way? Is what I'm. No. Okay, fair enough.
Ask more questions.
She never asked the question again.
You really genuinely have to be careful asking questions around Leopold because he might sometimes just spring it on us without
Indeed, he
even
might.
choosing it. So,
And indeed he has.
indeed. And it's generally been very useful when he has. So.
There is that junction. Who is heading down, if anyone?
I mean, it's
dark down there. It's dark down there. No, it's fine. It's fine. Nothing.
He's following Yume's lead.
I'll go first.
Pottering down the path. Yep, it's alive down here. You can sort of feel it. Following?
Yeah.
Lupo follows in after. What are you doing?
Really wonder they're now following.
Because the warning that he got, it wasn't that only one person can go. It was that there was only one route.
Yeah.
And so he wouldn't want to...
Yeah, make two routes by having two people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clever.
Especially because the forest kind of changes. Like, we're now, in Alamanawite's mind, they're now on a path.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a path that is
Of course,
in existence.
he was also... We were sitting there at a junction, and it was like that there's only one path. That does also make me wonder if we went the other way, if it actually wouldn't make any difference which way we walked, we'd end up in the same place.
Because you make your way down. Somewhat gingerly, perhaps. Somewhat less gingerly.
Well, I still
You're
got
making
my,
your way down. Yeah. It's now beginning to raise.
Interesting.
Yours is not. As you're making your way down.
Downtown.
So this was possible. Whatever the danger is danger for you rather than...
You think?
As you're making your
I
way
don't
in further.
like this. I don't feel safe.
And I'd like an intuition test from you, please. And from yourself, an intuition test also. Different.
Critical.
Oh, wow.
66.
Nice.
4 successes.
Something feels out of balance. Like the scales have been tipped one way rather than another. And it's your first awareness that the scales are not tipped between falling and not falling. They're tipped between falling and something else. And the middle
Is where
is
you
what
want.
you thought was not falling. And
Profound.
it's tipped that way.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting. I think I know it.
Away from the falling to, say, for example, the ruinous powers. as you make
14 successes.
holy crap. El bullshit. As you are creeping at the back, and then you see the potential issue. The tree that's coiled up and rising to the side. You move, and you can see in the top roots of it a face. Wicked eyes leering down. A long branch, almost hand-like, spread across the path. Another over at the roots, bulging towards the edge of the path and pulsing with its own life. It's hungry.
Should we give the blood?
Hungry. So, you're fine. Everything's cool.
Everything's
This place just
Everything's
feels like a
fine.
normal glade. Glade? Glade. A normal glade as you're making your way down, and yeah, it feels imbalanced. There is something out of balance here, and a way that your gut doesn't quite get because it's new. It's new, and you're not sure what that means. Thanks, Dad.
Well, I call that side elf bullshit.
There's a hungry tree spirit just
Right over Leopold's head,
right over your head, Leopold.
and it's looking at it.
And it's looking at you like it.
You sense and see nothing.
It's possible that, you know, too much of even a good thing can be bad. Like
Doesn't look like a good thing.
the way I sense it is it's not the usual bad.
Maybe
And then you hear. It's like the sighing of the wind. Crackle of twigs and leaves as a voice shifts and says, all right, so the sounds say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Sure.
There is no intelligible part or component of this where you go, yes, conversation time. That is not the case.
Uh-huh.
It's sounds and movements swooshing as if the earth itself is somehow communicating. Yet, you kind of understand, with the stress of kind of. If you have XP, you may spend it on Speak Kami.
I do have XP. So is it
Have you got
language?
Because you're up, yes, language Kami, and you will have to.
I've got some too. Can we buy it?
You cannot!
I have 1 XP. Literally 1 XP. I've ended up with 1, but there you go.
1 XP. Okay,
That's exciting.
I do have enough for. Do I have enough
So
for
when you were
10?
I've got my thinking.
10! Oh, wow!
So
I don't
skills.
think I have
Have you
enough
got
pen.
any advantage yet? No. So how much XP have you got?
155.
155.
Yes.
Then you can get 11 advances if you really wanted to. That'd be 145 XP.
I'll get
10.
10
Next
because it's
round
an
up.
advanced skill,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
10, 125.
I. This feels silly.
50 for the first, 75 for the next.
Yeah.
I've got a table, so
Yeah.
I just select the cells.
Makes it super easy. So,
Barely an
would you like to do a
inconvenience.
test, please?
Yes.
This is exciting.
And then I fail. Bloop. Ooh, I think that should be fine. 4 successes.
4 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's advanced.
Oh, but if it's a 1,
One.
yes.
Yeah. You think, you believe something like you're something extremely far something why.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I don't know how to reply. I guess I'll try. With both my intent and my words.
Try a language Kami test as she takes a breath in and intends to speak Nipponese, but something else comes out.
Ooh, okay.
This is a spiritual awakening.
Ah, no, I will re-roll that.
Ronald!
Help me, Ronald. Help me.
0-1. Okay.
It's a pass.
Yeah,
pass.
Scraped it, but it's a pass.
And for your first time speaking a language you've only just heard and
Yeah.
have intuited, I take that as a win.
Yeah, I know.
That's like a big win.
Yeah.
What's your planned intent for communication?
I was just going to let the wind carry my words in the same way that seemed to do for them.
And what were you intending to
Oh,
say?
and that I'm from a faraway place called Nippon.
As the pair of you listen in, and you hear something akin to
Oh no, that's not creepy at all.
her as she looks around, and her voice is low and odd sounding. As she looks up, and her face looks oddly feral.
Is she talking to that?
She's
Then-
looking directly up. You have no real awareness that you're looking in a different direction.
Sure.
As you suddenly realize you are, in fact, addressing above. It was, again, intuited. You didn't really intend to look up, but as you spoke, you found yourself looking up. And there is something there. A movement of shadow and darkness. And in front of it, a very white head with slitted eyes. And one in the center for a total of 9.
Yay! We love those.
The shadow drifts around and causing this white head to drift around with it as it moves up and down the edges and the periphery of the trees. It says something. Do yourself an intuition test, and I'd like a perception test from yourself. So on your side, language cannon test.
8 successes.
I wish I was more intelligent.
Unless intuition, you said.
Yes, intuition. test.
11 successes.
Oh wow, yes, nice.
4 success. Oh,
wow.
1 success again.
Okay, I should point out that part of the reason I'm getting so many successes on my perception is because divination. So it's like he spots divination things.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
love it.
Nice.
It's good. There's only one path through this. As you're there and you feel it moving, you feel the spirit as it, and a scent of blood hits the air. It's ready to eat. It's ready to eat. Well, while you contemplate what that means, on your side, you're almost hand up now, trying to sense something, that instinctual raise of the hand to try and feel what's around you as your head tilts. It's enough that you're almost pushing the blindfold up from your ear just to get a little bit more sound in, and try to catch something. Then you catch it. You catch it. There is something here. Oh, there's something here. And your belly suddenly falls. You don't know why it falls, but it falls. And in your head, you hear, "Kill it." On your side, quite different again. Success, yeah?
Yes.
As it shifts through and it says something like ancient blood, blah, blah, something, something, the fall, blah, blah, hungry, blah, blah, which one?
Oh no!
Oh,
no!
Yay!
So, given what you have all been told, how are you each responding?
I'm just saying, it wants blood. Her blood's great.
I don't know what would happen if it gets my blood. But if that's the balance and mine's arguably somewhere on that scale, perhaps it would give me information about it as well to
So what would you like to
To
do?
offer it.
yeah.
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 Oh, she's plucking a blade. Are you doing anything?
I am emphatically not killing anything. Not drawing my hammer.
And I
Clasp my
think
hands
like
together.
Test, please.
his line was like, "There's one way through." So if she looks like she's going to give it blood, I'm not going to at the moment.
Sounds good. Love that.
But
It's a pass, but only
but-
just.
That's enough.
but I'm
Okay,
ready.
you feel your hand twitching,
Yeah, that's why.
going for the
That's why I want to clasp him to stop.
clasp it as your hand is twitching in your fist. And you can feel the occasional as it's trying to pull down to your hammer.
Should I let you stab? Should I let me stab you?
I know what I'll do. I'll go into my shadows coil stance.
Okay, moving into a stance. If you don't know out there, we have a bunch of stances in our talent. You go check it. They're all marked stance, and that means that you benefit from special rules, but only one stance can be adopted at any one time. It shows that you're in a particular form. And she has moved into Shadow's Coil, one of the elven forms that gives her a ward save. As you move and your feet spread, as your whole shadow twists, as your shoulders move, and very slowly come to a gentle movement. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try and speak to
Cool
it as I do
test.
it. Okay.
Because cutting yourself isn't as easy as they say in the movies.
True. Yeah. Cool
I'll just
test.
stab myself in the hand. Super easy.
Yeah, that's fine. 56, so that's 5
Oh
successes.
wow, no, that's good.
Unless
That's
the-
difficulty 2 as well. So
Unless
Right,
this
so what
one's
you
a
do-
noble in case it's sick.
it's yeah no. So are we cutting ourselves?
Yeah.
Your vision lights up as from your side, golden light spreads out from where she is, as if the heavens themselves have opened up and blazing sun is shining out of her. Now, she's been cut around you before, and you never saw anything of the ilk.
Shiny.
Apparently, intent is an important component of this.
Yeah.
As the blood drips, and for you, shining, and the blood itself is almost pure sunlight dropping down towards
Wow.
the ground. What are you doing? Yo, she's cut herself. You can
Yep,
smell that on
yep,
the wind.
I'm just like,
Okay,
I'm
you're in
waiting.
stance.
Yep.
Okay, what are you doing with your blood? Are you intending splashing it around willy-nilly? Are you, is it a small incision and just a few drops? Is this a, what's your plan?
She'll, if there's like a fallen leaf or something,
Oh, there's, it's summer, so very few. There's lots of life.
maybe a rock.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
so-
quite a few of those around.
Yeah, she'll put some on there and place it.
The entity, from your perspective, shifts and shifts and shifts. Its head hovering around, always pointing to where you are, as then it begins to say something. Roll. From your side,
Can I still see the
creature is there, and it's not moving, it's not
Yeah.
shifting, it's not. It's just this tree spirit that's looking down in this general direction, and as it currently stands, it doesn't appear to be doing anything. As you are hesitantly moving, your limbs twisting and shifting,
I'm stealth,
Ready.
aethering, and rural for all I'm worth.
and yourself.
I think I might try and actually meditate.
Oh, like it?
Because am I correct in saying the kill it was just in Reichspiel?
Yes.
So I think it's my shadow trying to take control.
Mhm.
So I would like to meditate and try and have a conversation with my shadow to tell it to calm the fuck down
Yep, love it.
before it gets us both killed.
I love that.
that sounds a completely sane thing for us.
Yep, speak to myself.
I'm a warrior priest of Sigma. I mean, 4 successes on a meditation
Good.
test.
As he sits down, kneels, stands.
Well, it stands because
Stands.
he normally
He's a Sigma,
stands.
right? Come on.
He's
Yeah.
a Sigma.
You're not
He
allowed
stands.
to kneel,
Of course he
sir.
is. And focuses in on himself. Focuses in, so it's just him in the middle of nothing. And is his shadow there? It is not.
It's not there.
Nothing's there. And you feel yourself pretty much wiped out from all your senses.
Oh, like what happened the first time at the conclave thing.
Yeah, a little bit. It's deeply unnerving too. The father falls down.
Oh.
His whole body limp. You are obviously extremely alert if you wish to try and capture him.
Yeah, I
You
think
can
I'll
do
try
so.
and
You want
catch
to
him because he
dart
might
forward.
actually hurt
Your stance
himself.
doesn't take up any actions.
Yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
You're just in the stance, so you can just glide forward if you wish to do so.
I glided forward, but I failed to catch him, presuming if it's athletics or something.
Yeah.
I'll re-roll it.
I got the success. One
Yeah,
success. For
3
the-
successes.
As you skip forward, catch his head.
Oh, 4, because I'm in a forest.
Sweet!
Oh,
Pushing off a tree. Catch his head, lay him down as gently as you possibly can, then you're backing up, I presume. You're quite aware of the fact that you are now underneath that thing,
Yep,
which you can hear the creak of its bark.
Yep, I'm getting.
Okay, as you are dropped into a world of nothing. As a voice says, hungry.
Oh, that's not good.
Hungry. But you feel a little bit like it's looking for you. Like it's trying to smell blood. Like it's a shark in the water. Like it's something looking for you. And this is where you can do yourself a stealth aether test. It is fortunately a basic skill.
It is unfortunate that my agility is so poor.
Why aren't you like us?
2 successes?
He is like us.
Oh, well, there you go.
As he senses nothing, yet somehow is also aware that something goes past him. You think it's found its prey. You think it's saying it is satisfied and you may leave.
Cool.
You think.
You think?
Yeah, Leopold's collapsed.
Yay. Because it's found its prey or because that's enough? Who knows?
The blood seeps into the rock. Bubbles slightly at the edge. And your vision also goes.
Yay.
But in a very different way. Meanwhile, as you're sitting there on the outside,
This is elf bullshit.
really wishing Alevandro was here. He understands this.
Oh, he'd be pure raging.
He understands spirits.
He
He
does,
understands.
He could talk to them and just like
Yeah,
intuitively
you know
understand all of
nothing.
this stuff.
He talked to the wheeled way and how to get access to it and all that, and you had to do things. And Leopold's down and out, great. And then over on the other side, as she's sitting there with her butt, she collapses also. Okay, you can do yourself an athletics test to try and capture. You may.
0-6. But
Wow.
1 extra success because I'm in a forest.
Nice.
As you bounce over and slide yourself just underneath her in time to catch her head as she goes down, and the spirit is right there. Right above you. Its face looking down at you.
Am I the prey?
You have a horrible feeling that it's about to attack. In the marvelous Ume world,
Yay.
she suddenly feels a pulse and it spreads out from her,
Mhm.
illuminating this great network.
Mm.
Threads that move off like... What's the quickest way to describe this? It moves out like light from her in rainbow scintillating twists. And it spirals down threads in different directions. And then they themselves split and split and split like there's so many branches off of a tree. And each one getting infinitesimally smaller until it moves almost to pure chaos on the edges.
Don't like that word.
So small, so tiny, but a repeated pattern that strikes her again and again, and it pulses out from her, and it's coming from her hand. And it pulses again. And then she feels in the distance, connection. Grandmother.
No.
Kami. God. And on the other side of the world, there's a movement as a flower bursts into life on a very important tree. On the other side of the world,
Oh no.
Well, that sounds good. No?
I don't know.
the other side of the world,
A flower opening sounds good.
Depends on the tree.
That is a good point. It could be that stink
a
corpse
whole
flower.
host of very, from your perspective, you could see such a thing, oddly dressed individuals, tall headdresses flowing with tassels down, all the colours of the rainbow around it. As they go up, one of them goes, "Hurrah!" and starts talking. Another one excitedly comes in as they all gather around as this flower opens. Somewhere in the world, something has happened. It obviously means a lot to them. You can feel something coming. You don't know what you contacted. Your father didn't talk about this. You said it was different for everyone, or something like that.
Yeah, plus probably he's like scraped his knee a bunch of times in the pond and like done this unwittingly, like throughout his childhood, and you know.
Stealth ether test.
Another one. Oh, no. Do I have advantage having passed the last one?
No, you don't. Not contested.
You tried.
Oh, fortune point. Oh, it's a crit.
Nice one.
Just in time.
So 6 successes. And a
6
crit.
successes. You pray in the middle of nowhere. What else is there to do?
It's
But
the
to
demon's
call
bowl all
upon-
over again. Yeah.
But to call upon Sigmar and hope. And in the Demon's Bowl, there was no Sigmar. It was quite disturbing.
Oh, but if this is the ether, maybe there is a Sigma.
As he sits there, and then there is a mighty cracking sound as a twin-tailed fork of lightning slashes down, and for a moment, you see an entity hundreds of meters wide. You sense it, and the pain and the agony as it jutters and flashes in front of you, twisting, hurting, moving. And 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room as you are lying down on the middle of the path. You can still hear its screams. You didn't know it was screaming on the other side, but on this side you hear it scream. You, however, before he wakes up, are looking up at this thing. Stealth ether chest.
No.
This is actually where I also call, can you read out what your talent does? So the talent in this case is Mistwalker.
Do you want me to
Oh
find
yeah,
out
do
the
you want to
talent?
grab that
Yeah,
while
that'd be
she's checking
great.
that?
Six,
That's not
7,
fermentation medicine.
8 successes.
Mistwalker.
And I've got notice 1. I think that's something to do with if they're looking for me, but read
So
out Mistwalker.
Mistwalker gives you the skill Stealth Etheric. You walk in Ladriel shadow, spells, artifacts, scrying, divination, and other attempts to forecast your actions automatically fail.
Yep.
Amongst other things, it means you cannot be accurately doomed. Spells predicting the future do not see you or gain bonuses against or for you.
Mhm.
And talents like augury, divination, and oracle can learn nothing about you and bring you no benefits.
Great.
Interesting. I wouldn't necessarily interpret that as meaning you couldn't ask an oracle question as long as it's not about you. That's a discussion for another day. Further, all events and souls with an agility bonus times plus Mistwalker squares are completely invisible to all etheric entities who have not manifested in the mortal realms.
That's what I needed.
I
That's
also,
why I wanted
by
to
the
check
way,
the wording.
just so
Thank
you
you.
know, I also have Silent Step Aether
Oh, nice.
as well as Stealth Aether. So I've got the
Nice.
talent that means
yeah.
that they have to be. I mean, in this instance, they're clearly looking for me, but
Yeah, totally. They have to actually be looking.
they have to be looking.
As the entity
8
moves,
successes.
the tree spirit shifts, and there's a cracking of bark as the entity pulls itself from the tree.
It's like it's manifested.
as it drops down beside you. Long branches pulling out from one side of its head. Long claws as it hands flicks to one side and a whip of wood passes above where you are as it pulls back and looks from side to side, eyes up, a rune across its face. Pale flesh, but tree flesh. The bark split from either side of it. Tendrils rising up from either side. One limb, second limb, both cracking as it moves with bark, as it shifts from side to side and tries to find its fucking prey. It looks angry as it then hisses, but it hisses like the wind moving through the trees itself. And the wind suddenly picks up on all the forest on all sides as it twists round and tries to find its prey.
Hello.
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 As something is coming and it rises up in front of you. A fox. A white fox. With a spray of 9 tails behind it. You are this big. The fox is this big. As it looks down. And it reaches out its nose and sniffs. A tiny, tiny, tiny little Ume. And smells its own blood in your veins. You know that. You've been recognized. Kin.
Yay.
Kin. And the head lifts up. And a paw bangs down. And you're shuddered back into the material realm. As the paw hits on your side, that's when you're waking up. As you wake up, and there is this tree-like entity shifting around, and it steps, and it's about to step on your leg.
I would move that leg out of the way.
Stealth aether test.
Oh, oh no. I will fortune point that. No.
Success or fails in this case?
Fails. 2 fails.
Okay, what's your Mistwalker? How
I've
many advances in it?
got it 3 times.
That'll cover it. Okay, you scrape your leg away, but you're there. It can't hear you. The fails were important.
I'm glad I re-rolled it then because it was more than that the first
as,
time.
you scrape out, and then suddenly the trees wobble like something is just dropped in the middle and blown outwards as you wake up. And there is, from where you're lying on your side, a tree spirit. You think. I mean, it's moving around like a tree. It looks like a tree. I mean, how many trees have you met? Not many. That can move? Not many. So let's say it's a spirit.
Uh-huh.
You have no idea what this is. It's twisted and it looks angry. You know a couple of things, depending on what you roll in an intuition test.
Yay. Okay. Du-du-du.
Could you write it Mistwalker again?
Cool. That's 1 success, but can we add the success of a fortune point?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I'll add 1. So
Okay.
it's 2 success.
2 things. Beyond knowing that this is the spirit that's out of balance, the spirit is out of balance.
Uh-huh.
You are broadly, at least you think you know, what you might need to do to bring it into balance.
Okay.
Give it a really good broth. You know, just a really nice broth.
Okay.
You know,
Uh-huh.
you need to get away from here fast. Just get just a really nice broth, but you've got to make it yourself.
Okay.
It's got to be made with love and care.
Uh-huh.
And you don't have trade cook. So the answer is, as you're sitting there intuitively trying to figure it out, you can't fix this. You probably need to learn how to cook if you want to fix this, or you're not sure what you need to do.
Someone could teach me midwit with me. I don't know.
You're not sure what you have to do
Uh-huh.
directly. You just know that it just needs to be nurtured, cared for, and the first thing that comes to your mind is just a really good broth.
Uh-huh.
Let it sit down and
Alan brought a picnic that she was going to give to the princess. I mean, that might work. It was made with love and care.
as you sit there coming to conclusions that are obviously really useful in this horrendous environment as it stomps its shattered wooden foot down, coiling bits of greenery search out around it as it pulls back up, realizing there's nothing there, and the foot lifts again, fortunately not going in your direction. As it stands down again, the other foot lifts up. And it's not until this moment that you get any sort of realization of how big it is. It just felt enormous, but it's only around about 7-8 foot tall. It's big, but it's not huge. But it does have bits rising out of it. Crack! You can hear the cracking of the bark. And in your mind, kill it.
Still in Reichspiel?
Yes,
But I mean, that voice does sound like the voice that spoke another language before.
it really did.
Ume will signal our retreat.
Retreat!
We do not need
Run
language
away.
for anything for that. Just fucking go.
Stealth ether test.
Okay.
For all of
Stealth
us,
ether
yeah.
test. Stealth ether test.
Lupul will also, he's not intending to attack, but will get his weapon out in case he needs to defend himself.
3 successes.
Can I add my silent step?
I will.
Like,
It's my final fortune.
okay,
You
then,
want- Yeah, silent step. It is silent
Still
step.
not use my
ether.
divination
Yes.
reroll.
Yes, it is. Then,
then
yes,
7 successes.
Oh,
Fuck.
nice.
I'm going to use my divination reroll. Right, it's back to 2 fails.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Only 3 successes.
3 successes. As
Sweet.
the elf drifts, moves back, dancing step, you move over towards the trees, and you just run along the tree line as fast as you possibly can, hopefully out of line of sight, as you just stumble up to your feet, just back off fast, holding your
Holding
hammer,
my hammer.
as it twists round and almost locates where you are, but it's not a material creature fully. It doesn't hear your footsteps. It doesn't see your movement. It doesn't quite locate you correctly because it's not strictly fully here. As it steps, and slowly but surely, it's further away from you as you're backing away. And as you go away, it sort of wobbles to your vision, and then it's just a path down the glade. It doesn't disappear or go somewhere. It just sort of shimmers and mirages out of existence before your eyes as you back away. In your case, it's not there anymore. You don't know where it is, and everything feels calm again, and you're very confused. Elaminoith, you're outside the glade at the T-junction.
That was close.
That was.
What was that?
It was a spirit.
A big tree spirit.
That
Like
was.
a dryad? Or is that different?
I mean, it might be a dryad. Your awareness of the tree spirits is not
Like,
enough. Unless
I
you,
literally know that word.
yeah. Do you have lower Eonir?
I've got Laura Lorn.
I'll let you give that a roll in. So might actually give you.
I got a success, but I don't have very much.
You
of
know
it, so-
that the forests around the Laurelorn have a lot of hungry spirits,
Mhm.
and they guard the edges and the peripheries of the Wieldway, and you have to pay passage, and it's often in blood and it's often in souls, and if you are granted access, you will normally be left alone, but not always. So you think it's probably one of those, and it is a spirit of the trees. And some of them are really angry. Really angry. The elves, the Eonir that you're with, don't so much have them as allies as are aware
live
of
on
them.
the other side of them.
Yeah, and when they go to war, they don't necessarily come in as allies. They're almost unleashed, and the elves withdraw. And they hope that they don't turn their attention back upon the elves. And that often comes at a cost as well. The cost is generally paid in human souls. So that's what you know. Pass over any part of that you wish.
Got no idea. Never heard of them.
I think it guards the way, but not because it's a man at arms, just because its nature is to be hungry. And so if anything should pass that isn't supposed to pass, it will consume it.
But it's hungry because you're not feeding it the right things, I think. I mean, I'm saying it as if I know anything. But...
And it's right that point you realise your father was right. He might know fuck all about it all. But he kind of figured it out. And you know fuck all as well. Yet here you are saying the very things that you were complaining at him for not providing you answers with.
It's really rude. You shall never tell my father this. What did you bring in your picnic?
Well, I had prepared a picnic in case I happened to see the princess. And it's just, cakes. She likes cakes.
Do you have any tea or hot liquid?
No, she really likes cakes. Like 4 cakes.
Okay.
Not so much a picnic as much as a basket full of cake.
Yes, exactly.
Intuition test, please.
3 successes.
Contrary to your initial expectations, this may do, because you're quite convinced that she's genuinely in love. And it was made with love. But there's a bit. She is a liar. She is on some crazy elven quest that involves her lying about everything. If it was genuinely made with love, then you think it will work. But if she's lying, she's just playing another part, it won't work at all.
And does she know for sure?
You don't know.
I know for sure.
It needs offerings made with love. Not necessarily for it, but that were made with love. Now, the cake might be okay. And
it's her favorite cake. It's what's it called?
Did you make it yourself?
A Drakvalde. No, I can't make cakes, but I gave very specific instructions to the cake makers for this particular cake. It's a Drakvalde tort.
Okay. If you're okay with me taking that there, we won't go back. Well, but I mean, like, we won't stay.
Do you not think that I should take the cake?
You probably should. 2 successes.
It'll probably have to be her.
Yeah.
But no, she won't be able to tell. It'll probably have to be you, and it'll have to be given from her by you. I think that would do it. You might need to explain it to it. It just sort of makes sense. She's already been here. Yeah, and she's part of the problem. It's like this because of her and her kind. But if you give a better gift from them, you could come in. You just need to be meek. You need to be humble. You need to approach very carefully and slowly with the appropriate gift, lay it down, and then explain what you're doing.
I can try and then get eaten.
And hope Alamanowite's not lying about the whole made with love thing.
Yes. Well, Okay.
Getting out the cakes.
I can't cook either, and we don't have time, and I think it would be good to fix this. So I'm going to try. But if I don't come back, maybe bring other love-made offerings?
No.
Ideally made by...
I think the cake will be fine.
You? Okay.
She really likes this cake.
Okay. Sure. But that's fine. I will believe...
You unwrap the wax paper and the inside is a really nice cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smells chocolatey. It smells heavy though. Like a really thick cake.
Could she?
With some cherries.
She'll get a.
No. Cream. You can smell it. Oh, I'll give you an upset stomach. It smells good.
She'll get a stick or something and write the symbol for love on it.
Oh, lovely.
Do you know
Just-
have that behind you?
Yes, this one.
Here's one we prepared
Excellent.
earlier.
I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Amazing.
I gave it to Elric at some point. I can't remember
Yeah,
why.
that's super cute.
Anyway,
We know why.
it's fine. He asked for it.
Nicely written on the top of the chocolatey tort.
Just in case.
Yep. Okay. You're gonna go down there.
Yep.
Do you want us to come with you?
No.
As you make
Relieved.
your way down the path. Cool test first.
Okay.
We're cool. You're
Cool.
definitely cool. Everything is fine.
We're all cool, and that's 0 success.
Can we assist
But
her
if
from
Yes.
afar? Like send her
Nice try.
vibes, good vibes.
I mean, you are attempting.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, yeah, could I yell at her to go down and do a leadership test?
Get down
Get down there! Start that spirit out, girl! Go on!
As you watch her make her way down, slowly but surely. It reminds you of being back in court. Your footsteps restricted by your skirts. Apparently, it's a very similar tread to being terrified. As you make your way forward, and it slowly but surely twists out of the open, empty glade into your sight before you. The spirit is there. It's currently one clawed hand up, its fingers splayed, about 9, maybe 12 digits, maybe 13, 14 or more, wrapping around the tree, holding it in place as it looks around from side to side. The great rise of bark from its fleshy face, which opens with a jagged-looking tree-like maw as it goes, the rustling of the wind moving through trees. You can definitely move upon that. It's got fear 4 though, so it's going to take 4 successes to move up into the place you think you need to be.
Okay.
It is fortunately an extended test, which means you can take time. If you fumble, you ain't going in there.
Okay, cool. Just shout, Midwife love! And like, leave it down.
Nailed it.
Pie face.
How we show love here, don't worry about it. Okay.
Amazing.
That is not that's a fail, so I will re-roll that.
Okay.
Oh, or actually, if I fail...
Fail for the first one just means you stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I'll
you'll be
just
okay.
Save your
continue.
reroll for a
Yeah.
fumble,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep rolling. I failed again.
Okay, you can see her. She's about 20 paces down the path, and she's just stopped, and she's shaking. She's just shaking.
Come on. Actually, could I do a blessing of
Right.
courage?
If you wish to do so, pray to Ronald.
See, I could beacon of virtue.
She needs to see you.
But I need
Yeah.
to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're behind her.
Yeah.
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 Yes, I
She could
will.
back her way in.
I will do a blessing of courage.
As instinctually you call out, like Ronald, who danced between the gates of hell itself to slip in and slip out from the great forge where the worst souls are made.
Very dramatic.
Well, you know, prayers.
That is 2 successes.
And like Ronald, you've got to be brave to go where the worst souls lie.
Yes. Hopefully not for long.
This will help, right?
Yes. Cool. That's one success.
Excellent. As you take a step forward towards it. She's taking tiny little steps. She's moving again.
Making progress.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, that's 4 successes.
And you're in. As you step forward, and you are before it. It twists and looks at you. Its slitted eyes. And
Humble, humble,
back
humble.
of it. Okay. Do you have etiquette spirits?
I do not.
Great. Good start. It does not recognize you as one of its own kin. So let's see how it responds.
Made with love.
I know how it's going to respond. Are you going to do anything before it responds?
I will try to speak to it.
Excellent.
Uh-huh.
What are you going to try and say? Is it going to be just simply made with love, the best you can possibly get?
Yeah, because it's obvious I'm giving it to it,
Yeah.
so made with love.
Okay,
And did
made
you
with
not say
love.
like from the elf though? Like not from her.
The too many words.
Too many words. Too many words.
Okay, do yourself a language kami test.
Ooh, that's just enough. It's exactly, well, obviously it's one success, but it's exactly.
What says made with love. And she presents a big cake
Is it the
To
Black
the
Forest
wild-
cattle?
to the wild dryad. Basically, is a Black Forest
Yeah, it's a Drakvelder tour. It's
So,
basically a Black Forest gato.
As it's laid down before. And it twists one way, then the other, as its claws raise up and go for the cake.
Nice.
As it plunges into it. You're going to need to do a dodge test.
Okay. I recently put my dodge up. Ooh, that's not good. I will reroll that
I
one.
recently put my dodge up for exactly these kind of circumstances. Spirits going for cakes, not me.
1 success.
As you push back, fall back onto your buttocks.
Uh-huh.
As you fall backwards, you see her ahead of you, falling backwards and shuffling backwards from it. You don't see what's ahead, but you do see the cake. It's getting torn to shreds in front of her in the air. Torn to shreds. As it then sits down and goes, smearing it across its face. And slowly but surely relaxes. And you get an unfortunate, an unexpected realization. Because of the success, you've learned something about Alamenawife. She's actually in love. Actually in love.
Uh-huh.
Because this wouldn't have worked otherwise. It just wouldn't have.
Yes.
And it shrinks, shrinks, and shrinks until there's a small shrew
Oh.
covered in the front of its face with chocolate. It just burrows into the remainder of it, bounces around, pushes out, and then scurries off into the trees. Your father talked a lot of bullshit, but it turns out he might be right.
I know. Wait till he
think you
hears
brought-
about the cake.
You think you brought spirit into balance. You think you've somehow done it, and you didn't do anything special or fancy, you just sort of gave it a cake.
I'm gonna have to change the list of things I need to take down.
And that is when I will allow an intuition test.
Okay. Ooh, crit!
Ooh. Good time to... It's something about our side streams. A really handy crit near the end.
Oh, I'm going to go further than I was originally going to go with this one then.
Wait, I rolled 26 for the second one. Is it the
Tens.
Tens.
The tens, yeah.
the 10s?
So the 2.
Two.
Yeah.
So 4 successes in total.
Then I
That
shall
crit.
tell you this. As you watch it run off, a few things. Number one, that thing was potentially also responsible for opening up the way into the wheelway here.
Oops.
The elves probably aren't going to be coming through here anymore.
That's maybe not a bad thing, given the
They were going to come to war.
That's maybe just saved Middenheim from falling to the elves.
That's number one.
Oops.
Number two,
No offense.
you come. This is basically a small gate. This is a small Tory gate, which has not been properly constructed.
There's wood, but not in the right configuration.
Absolutely. And there is some form of gate here, which means that it's currently closed and they have a method of opening it using presumably the spirit. And that makes some sort of sense. And as you sort of figure out what that means, down below the city, there is a big flame. A really big flame. It's the same. And there's a spirit patrolling on the outside of it that's out of balance. A great hunter that's hunting for some form of similar sacrifice. And as terrifying as it feels, you don't know how you could bring it into balance, but you feel like it's definitely possible. But, like this, if you did it, it could permanently close that gate. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You don't know. You're unaware if it's a good thing or a bad thing. What you know for certain is that that spirit, that thing that's wandering down there, there's something that it wants. Something. It might be exceedingly complicated. This one just wanted love. As you realize that this isn't a universal thing. It's not that all spirits want love. It's just this one was hungry for love. And that brought it back to balance. You don't know what that one needs. But you're not entirely sure you'll ever know unless you're down there.
Time to take a load of random stuff with me.
Pick up some weirdo talents from your new career.
Yeah.
Intuition test to learn stuff about spirits. So that went well. Probably. From your perspective, she just seems to be breathing heavily, looking down at the demolished remains of a chocolate tort. A big gâteau.
Let's never speak of this again.
Okay.
You're some distance away. We'll need to get up and come back if you wish to do so. Are you going to walk backwards just in case it comes out, or are you quite confident you're just going to walk out of there?
No, I should be okay.
Yeah, you turn your back in that glade, won't you? Cool test.
Just 0 success.
Yeah, you're backing out of there. Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case, as halfway there, it feels a lot safer now. As you can then, you're away, turn round.
Little bow turn around.
Yeah, quite. Respect for the spirit. I come out and Leopold and Alminaway are there looking on.
I did it.
What happened?
Outstanding.
It was as corny as it sounds. It was hungry for love. For care, for somebody to care for it, and the cake did the job. And it was out of balance, and now it's in balance, and it probably won't be usable anymore in the same way that the elves did. So maybe let's not meet.
Let's not talk of this.
Yeah.
We were never here.
Where?
Exactly. We just went for a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a lovely sunny day. Yeah, we ate some cake.
You
And it was delicious.
ate some cake because I don't like cream.
You could eat around the cream.
You can have some. I don't think I can eat cream either.
No, it's just like I ate an entire cake. I was going to eat some cake and then we dropped the cake. Because I am clumsy and cannot see.
Yes.
There is the demolished remains of a cake sitting 3/4 of the way down a path. Just sitting there innocuously.
That was scary.
You know what? She's got a smile on her face.
Mission accomplished.
Remember when we were in the at the Flame of Elric, and you said you thought it was a big gate, and your father could somehow cap it? Were they using a side entrance? Is it the same gate?
No, if that. I think you were saying that they used it to go place. We went somewhere with it, right? I don't think you would have liked going through the same way as the Silver Flame. So it's probably not the
a
same
different
thing.
gate.
Plus, I felt like this did connect to Nippon
But you didn't feel like that.
when I passed out, whereas that one didn't feel that way. Like it
I
felt
thought
like
you
it
said
connected.
that it could connect, that your father could have connected it somehow.
It was a gate to the Aether, but I think it's almost like that is a passage through this side. I feel like or that there's somewhere in between here in the Aether that allows you to move, but it feels different.
I understand.
I
I understand that I don't understand that you understand that.
That's what I understood from
Yeah,
that. I understand too. Yep.
Yume seems to know her stuff.
I understand as much as I'm going to understand.
Yeah.
Let us no longer talk of this.
But
Nippon bullshit.
yes, but the bullshit. But I might want to take things with me that were made perhaps with different emotions, just in case down there it might come in useful.
Do you think? I think that's a good idea. We can have a think. It's almost like you have different ingredients for your spells here. So to help, absorb some of the energy.
Winds of magic. Spells. It's the winds,
Winds
of
of
magic.
magic.
It's
The
that
winds of
simple.
magic.
And
That's the word.
often, as the colleges would put it, corruption.
Yeah.
To absorb the corruption of the very thing that they're utilizing.
But I wasn't really meaning it like it's the same. I was just saying it's the same kind of idea.
I'm just covering what you were talking about.
Like things that are sympathetic to things.
Maybe I don't understand
It
it.
does make me think, do you think the elves know that the spirits are not, and they don't care? Or do you think they're like children using things they don't understand?
I know in Nippon, some people use the spirits for their own gain. And that's very different to what I just did. So perhaps it's just a different way of using spirits instead of, gaining their favor and maybe their help.
It would make sense. For example, the spirit in that form could rend its way through reality itself and allow passage to places. We would be able to do that if it was a different spirit.
Yeah.
The imbalance was beneficial in that regard. Imbalance is not by itself a bad thing. It just means that you're balanced off in that direction. As it turns out, the balance is more complicated than you first thought. Where you often had previously with your, let's say, simplistic view, viewed it as fallen to the gods and spirit, fallen to dark gods, spirit. Spirit generally good, perhaps bad, who could be certain? This side, demon. And now you're not entirely sure how it all works, but you know that in time you feel you might be able to figure it out. Maybe.
Or I'll die trying.
Yeah, sure. Because you definitely feel like that was a potential outcome.
Yeah.
That was a nice picnic, though.
Yes.
Was.
So much cake that you ate.
dropped it.
It was really undignified though, how when you dropped it, because it looked so good, you went down there and tried to lick it up.
Wait, not what not? The bit that hadn't touched the ground was fine.
Once a street rat, always a street rat.
I've never lived on the streets. Plus there were far fewer, bits of dead wood on the street.
And cake, presumably.
yeah, there was a dearth of cake on the streets of Ume's, it's true.
As you all make your way out of the Fey Glade, it's suddenly very, very hot again. Ooh. You've forgotten just how warm it was out there and also how cold it was down in the heart of that particular glade.
Could I have picked up like something that had fallen, so like a leaf or a stick or something?
Easily done, yes.
Yeah, just taking it with me.
Absolutely. Pocket that. Lovely. So is there anything else you'd like to do before you head back, or are we now feeling generally content with the world?
Foiled the work of 1,000 or so years that the elves had been tending to get their way into Middenheim. Ha ha.
I mean, that is funny though.
Stuff
That is funny that in this inadvertent stream that started off about just trying to make you feel better, we may have stopped the elves from sneakily invading Middenheim through a portal thing.
Spin on that, Maruvia.
Yeah.
No, Marisith.
Marisith, not Maruvio. You're Maruvio. So anything else you'd like to do before you head back, or are we all done? Are you happy? I mean, how are you feeling?
Well, you should feel happy.
Better, yes.
You've learned a lot. You've done an incredible thing.
Accomplished.
Accomplished.
Oh, that's a good feeling.
Yes.
And Ronald helped her, so she was like in balance on both sides of her
Yeah.
spirituality. We should see if the Chamberlain has time for her, and also see if he can go and meet his priest at the 8th bell.
So heading back. There's a few things to say. Number one, there's a return letter for you. The priest died in the explosion.
Oh,
Oh
God.
no.
Yeah, he'd attended the medal giving that day because obvious reasons, and he died.
Shit.
So that's him dead. Yeah, harsh.
Brutal.
Yeah,
What medal giving?
Our medal giving.
No, but that can't have been the day of the explosion because I met him after I'd got the medal.
Yeah, he was still there though.
But I met him in the temple.
Yeah.
So he must have come to pass after the medal giving.
Yeah, he's been up.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Yeah.
I see what you're
You
saying.
see what I mean? Like I met him after I had the
He
medal.
didn't stay
Not
there.
in the palace,
Yeah.
so he can't
Quite. Get my timeline back front there. So that's one.
Fuck.
He's done bloated up.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. I have now completely lost my thread. Where was I?
The
Dude blew up. Priest. There was another question.
The Chamberlain.
The Chamberlain. The Chamberlain is currently heading down, according to your staff, to Hunxa, along with Hunxa is a nearby town, by the way. Along with one of the valets to the Baron, to deal with a family issue. That's all that has been left.
Weird.
That is weird.
His family or Baron?
The valet, the royal valet, one of them comes from Hunxa, so I presume it's his family issue.
Quite. So that's that. Do I have any other points to address there?
You may have something to do after once we're done, but she'll probably just leave at the end. So
Nope,
is there anything else?
Nothing.
No, good.
We've got to do our shift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've got to do our shift.
I don't think she's
Can-
strong
can-
enough really to help.
Can we leave it with Alamenawife to talk to the Baron about
Oh, the
breaking up the
Temple of
riots?
breaking up the riots.
And also escorting Emmanuel there to get her books.
Yep, lovely, good. And
I mean, do we want to go with Emmanuel to get her books and potentially plunder the temple holiday? Is that a
I
bad
know,
thing?
it's
Is that an impious thing to do?
your god.
the Knights Panther.
For the greater good. Not to keep it, just to borrow it. I'd leave a receipt.
I can give you the response there. They will not interfere with temple business
Right.
at all. So it's up to the Cult of Sigmar to request access.
I'll happily do that.
the request from access, which requires a formal letter for yourself requesting access to be passed through, which then goes up, and the Knights Panther refuse because they believe it will endanger their current position in Middenheim, and they can't afford to lose any more numbers.
Fair enough.
I was kind of hoping more for state soldier, to be honest.
No, the state soldiers will not be breaking that up. They're preparing for war.
What about
they
the
also
wardens?
Don't care.
Yeah.
It's horrendous, but they just don't care.
Well, I mean, if they were orders, they care. But
No,
yeah.
the mid-marshal doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
The person who gives the orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
If only there was...
A request has come from the temple, said, fuck them. But a request is, fuck them. All right.
Should have had a handy brothel attached to the...
Yeah, quite.
I mean, Birdie could potentially get us in there, but
Yeah, possibly. As for yourself, you have anything else that you'd like to resolve?
Yes, if they're there, and then we passed through anyway, but she'll go back to, I'm assuming he's staying with the Knight Panther bit, so she'll ask for Torlikelm.
The
Torlikelm
youngest.
the even younger.
Yes.
So not the dead Grandmaster, not his dead son,
Uh-huh.
but the youngest one, who is
Rudolph, I
bless
believe.
his,
I think.
bless his little soul, a young chap. He is, yes, currently not there, but he's in the city. He is on duty with the guard of the palace.
Cool.
And after a little bit of push and shove and the awareness that you're looking for him, a charm test might get you what you're looking for.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh, crit!
nice.
Oh, well. Oh, that's just beautiful. So I think what we can end on there with a certain amount of deep amusement is that Ume gets to go on a lovely date with Rudolph of House Torlikelm in the city, having already given a spirit the taste of love. She goes chasing a very noble, very nervous, very unsure young man who will treat her with more honor than she knows how to deal with. However, unlike Arthur, there is no need for a Sigmarite cockblock. His honor is the biggest cockblock.
He's his
you've ever
own
seen.
cock block.
He is.
Wow.
He is, however, an incredibly nice boy. Bless him.
That's cute.
And isn't that nice? For us to finish on as we go, that didn't go where I expected. Spiritual weirdness. Yeah.